Hello, everybody. It's more Betrayal at Krondor here on Play It Forward. I'm Beej. You're watching the Loading Ready Run Entertainment Network. I fell asleep on the couch for like a few minutes. I feel like that should have been. It's always enough to reset me, and I don't feel reset. I came in here. And Heather is helping me get set up, and she's actually doing most of the work. And hello to everybody out there in chat. Glad to see you're here. And I just kind of felt like I'm forgetting something, right? What the hell am I forgetting to do? And I couldn't remember what it was that I must have been forgetting something, but I don't know what it was. So yeah, it's a stream, and we are still in chapter 2. We've basically finished everything that we can do in chapter 2 as far as like the normal quest stuff, but there are little other questy things we can do. There's the grain quest, the joke quest, and the kobold quest, and I want to finish those before we actually get into chapter 2, just because that's something we can do. It doesn't seem like they're necessary at all, and that's what we're going to do, is the completely unnecessary stuff. We can run this down. I do have my hair, so that's good. Let's actually readjust my hair, so ensure that I have. Because if you're paying to see my hair, you might as well pay to see all of it. That's how we roll here at Loading Ready Run, is you get 100% of whatever you can get. And pants, I am indeed wearing pants, so that's good. I went to the washroom before this stream started, which is very positive. Thank you to everybody actually on Twitch who I'm talking to right now for being here. And I also want to thank those of you on YouTube watching this on our VOD channel, but you can go over to youtube.com/loadingreadyrun to subscribe to the channel, but also to subscribe to the memberships if you're interested in a way of giving us money. That's right, we're doing all the money stuff now. That is a way to kick a little cash at us if YouTube is your preferred way of doing that kind of thing. Twitch is, of course, another one, and we'll get to everybody who's subbed here on Twitch after the stream is over. But also want to thank people who are on the Patreon. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. It is all of these things together that help maintain our environment. The Moonbase exists because you guys kick in all these different places. I have food on my table. In fact, I even feel like I ate a little too much food, so maybe I need to pace myself a little bit. But yes, don't worry, I'm eating my way through all the money that you send us on Patreon every month. So I am glad that that's all working out for me. What else? There is the store.loadingreadyrun.com. I had a great meeting with the people who operate our store at PMC Fulfillment. It's been a lot of fun the last few weeks, because we've been doing a lot of little work here and there, just store work you guys won't ever see any of this stuff, but it's been interesting getting more involved in it too, and I'm feeling very positive about where we're moving through this, because yeah, I've been operating the kind of the store aspects for Loading Ready Run for the last couple of years now, I guess, and I feel like I'm really growing into a lot of that. Obviously, at this point, I'd better be growing into a lot more of it, and it has been complicated, but it's coming along. And I know I get questions all the time about, hey, when are we going to get the UK back on board? The answer is it's still not happening yet. I'm still sorting out some other issues that I have to take care of first. So I apologize to people in the UK that we don't have anything for you yet, and also if you are plugged into how things are going in the UK and the EU, you probably are also aware the EU is going to be converting to a system much like the UK come July the 1st. So I have no announcements to make in that regard yet for this July the 1st, but just understand that I'm putting that out there, that the thing that happened with the UK to our store, the EU is doing much the same thing by July 1st. Just throwing that out there right now, but no actual announcements to make just yet. We'll probably have an announcement soonish on that. Though on the other hand, I did hear that setting up the EU's setup might be way simpler. So that might be good for us. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's begin what we were doing here. Yeah, I know, we're already in saves too. Restore. Seeing people post things from Twitter and whatnot, and now that they're in the chat, I'm going to go have a look at them myself. Jesus. Iris of Ether posted a crazy looking platonic ideal of a Zeta superhero. Wow. These look really cool. Good job, Iris. His name is the stretch goal. If you are on, you're not gonna get this if you're not if you weren't around for the other stuff. So or if you weren't around during the time of, because you won't be able to see the chat. So in the future, this will mean nothing to you, and I apologize. Let's see, what are we doing here? Everyone is full up. Everyone is happy. It is time to get green. And that means we're going to probably warp. Yeah, it says teleport or walk to the Temple of Dala. And where we are right now, let's have a look. We are here in Sylvan. The Temple of Dala is here. We are not walking that. That's would have to be going this way and then up through the Dimwood just to get over to there. No. We're gonna do this. We're gonna warp to the Temple of Dala to start the whole grain quest. Actually, because we have technically started it, what we need to do is look for Larissa's house. And I'm going to see if I can find in here. Let's see. Oh. Right. Right. Okay. No. I looked at the thing like, let's see what you have to do to kind of take care of whatever. Oh shit. So what you have to do to get into the rusty shed, yeah, is we need to be a lot stronger than we are. And who brings you Factory Direct strength potions at a fraction of retail cost? Fatamor's Formula! Fatamor's Formula! We had a bunch of Fatamor's Formula on us this entire time. We could have just used it. And we didn't. So now we are going to... aim for the main road, and we're going to head towards the Temple of Limbs Kragma so we can warp. There it is. Thank you, Julia Mon. So apparently chat was like, hey, don't you have something you could use to augment your strength? I'm like, what the hell do I have to augment my strength? Oh, wait. Whoops. Temple of Dala. It's so nice to just be able to warp with just who gives a shit about whatever, right? Like, just start warpins.
Hold there.
Hi, Squire. No. Grain? 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 Haley Betancourt lives south of High Castle Cross. All right. Well, we might do that. Feel like it's nighttime sufficiently. There's Larissa. Ever so grateful if you can help me open my barn. I'll open your barn. Yeah, door is jammed. So both James and Gorath gave it a try. James pushed on the barn door. This door is jammed, he said to Gorath. Come here and see if you can help me open it. Together the two men pushed, first with steady pressure, then with sharp pounding thrusts. Finally, after several minutes of effort, the door began to give. Then with a grating metallic shriek, the metal hinges gave way and the door swung open into the barn. It has nothing to do with Fatamor's Formula. It has everything to do with, have you done enough in the game to get your strength high enough? This is a strength check. We've successfully opened that barn door. So it's not like it was waiting for us to drink Fatimore's formula and make that happen. It just wanted to just, let the door gently give. Larissa greeted them with a warm smile. Come in, she said. Have you solved my problem yet? James nodded. It could hardly be compared to slaying dragons, but it was no easy task, I assure you. The hinges had apparently become quite rusty and seized up. Thank you so much. I just wish I had some way to pay you, she said with a slight scowl. Then she brightened. I have many sisters. Perhaps you'd like to marry my sisters. There are a few items that my sisters left behind when they moved a year ago, and they never came back to retrieve them. They're just taking up space here, and perhaps they will do you some good. Let me see if I can find them. That won't be, James began, but the woman had already retreated in the far corner of the house. When she returned, she handed him a tuning fork, a shell, and an herbal pack. That is a weird collection of things that you've given me. But that's fine. They exchanged thanks. Excuse me. And she bid them farewell. So now, tuning fork, and we're looking for, I think it's Sarah's house. There's a shell as well. We're looking for Sarah's house. I mean, the tuning fork is valuable. We are going to need it at some point. That's weird. They were greeted warmly. And then shown the interior of the house. Royal bed. Have we been here before? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. All barred all day. We've already done the thing. Nope, that's past the time. Nice Keshian knife. Who says I bought it? We have been here and done this. And here is goods where we can buy many a cheap emerald. Could probably sell one of these rings of Prandir, perhaps. Maybe we'll just get rid of one of them. Or not. That's fine. Does everybody have a tuning fork? Yes, you do. Great. Pack of 20 of those. Pack of 12 of those. It fine. What I don't know is if Sarah is actually in town or not. So we'll just try everything in town. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. But what I do remember is that somewhere along this way, we had, in fact, found Sarah Halfgate's house. You know what? To make this take a little less time, let's see if I can find the description of where we're supposed to go. Grain Quest. There we go. Their follow-up to Road Quest. Ah. Neat. The Grain Quest can be initiated in Chapter 1, but can only be performed in Chapters 2 and 3. If you initiate in Chapter 1, then talk to Squire Philip. He'll ask him about grain, and he'll offer a valuable clue. You can also initiate in number 2 or 3, in Chapter 2 or 3. Oh, there's a book in the Sarth Library, and I think we talked about this. Blessed Abdallah be the daughters of Flendel Halfgate, so named Thea, Andrea, Gina, Sarah, Kira, and Larissa, who in good mercy have been right worthy and true to the goddess, have provided much needed leather goods, grain, and entertainment for the woefully poor in their hour of need. From this day in the second year of the reign of good King Liam I, forever shall your issue be watched over by the fortunes of the goddess. So that was us letting us know about how all the names of the daughters we're looking for, that there is like the Halfgate sisters are all around here. So it's saying make sure you have 2 tuning forks. Well, we have 3, so great. Let's see here. Visit the temple, talk to the priestess, accept the grain quest. There's some wordlock chests around here. Oh, I don't think I ever went to these ones. They said there's some wordlock chests east of the temple, and I never saw them. So, oh well. Contain mostly weapons. Larissa Hathgate's house is the first house you come to northeast of the temple. If you open her barn, she'll give you a tuning fork. You need strength of 30 to open it. There is a goblin sticker around here. Doesn't really matter. I'm not really giving a crap about that. West of Eld Point, there's more trolls. And then east of Eld Point, there's more trolls. And then house in Eld Point contains weed walkers. We did that. East of Eld Point, there's a high castle sector. God, there's so much reading to do for this thing. I'm telling you a whole bunch of stuff to be looking for. It's so great. Hooray, isn't this awesome? Except that go east and enter the Wolfram area. Okay, so we need to go all the way to Wolfram. And then bit farther east, you'll come to a house south of the road. So we're going to Wolfram is what we're doing. I like that you know they're illustrating. Here's all the places you need to go. I'm like, yes, but holy crap! East of Wolfram, house south of the road. All right. Oh, ambush. Trolls, in fact. He's got a tuning fork. I'll just do this. We'll just watch all these guys run away. Excellent. Let's have some rest. James's knock was greeted with a giggle. The door was pulled open cautiously from the inside by 2 women. They seemed very nervous and giggled frequently as they introduced themselves. I'm Gina Halfgate, and this is my sister Andrea, the eldest began. Stifling another laugh, she continued, I hope you haven't come to hear us play. Play? Inquired James. My sister and I used to play our violins for all the lonely soldiers passing through, but of late, we haven't had many guests and our instrument have gotten out of tune. Say, do you have a tuning fork? If you had a tuning fork, we would be ever so grateful. Seeing James's doubtful expression, she said, we don't have much money we could offer, but a soldier left behind some leather leggings we have no use for. Would you trade us a tuning fork for some leather leggings? Yes. James agreed to the trade. He pulled a silver-colored tuning fork from his pack and offered it to the sisters, who tittered excitedly. Together they retreated into a different part. There's only 3 uses left in that fork, ladies. They retreated into a different part of the small house and returned a few minutes later with a leather pair of leggings. The trade completed. James thanked them for their hospitality and left. Why would a soldier who's just coming through, lonely soldiers walking through, listen to 2 ladies play violins, and why would he abandon his leather leggings like that? Just forget about them entirely. Oh, sex. People had sex in the old days? Out of wedlock? I know you're telling me fibs now. So we have been to Sarah Halfgate's house. And Sarah was the one who, they are bloody. No matter how he relaced them, the cured leather leggings wouldn't fit him. Perhaps we can find someone to sell these to. James said as he slid them off. I certainly won't be able to wear them. So, let's see here. Oh, that's repairable. Well. Excellent. Take that off. So now what we need to do is turn around and go back towards the crossroads. Here are the crossroads. And it wants us to head south. Yeah, we're turning southeast, and there's going to be trolls along this route. And of course we don't have that, and I can't select Owen yet. Bye. I always thought it was really funny. Like, I think I was in high school when I think it was when our teachers had told us, I think in English class or whatever, been like, hey, so we're reading all this stuff in Shakespeare or whatever, but you have to understand that, yes, people getting together to have sex was scandalous, but that's been going on for a long time. It wasn't like all of a sudden that everything changed in a certain year. No, people have been having sex out of wedlock for a long time. In fact, even before marriage was a thing. So naturally, that's just what you could do. A pretty woman answered the door. After the appropriate introduction, she allowed them entry to her small but well-decorated home. They discovered her name was Sarah Halfgate and that her husband was a trader away on business, which is, all the girls all have the same last name, but some of them have husbands, but then that means that they didn't take their husband's last name, which is kind of neat. Anyway, we've come looking for a bag of grain. Perhaps you could help us, inquired James. The woman seemed hesitant. Well, sirs, I have several bags of grain here, but my husband would be very angry if he found them missing upon his return. I could perhaps spare a single bag if you could help me find a present for the Midsummer Festival. I'm not sure how we could help, said James. He's been talking about wanting a pair of leather leggings. If you could find such a thing, I will give you a bag of grain. Do we have a deal? Yes. James nods his head. Oh, I'm so glad we could strike a deal, said Sarah. My husband will be thrilled with his gift. She went to the corner of the room and pulled a bag of grain off the stack. Gorath joined her. Here, let me help you with that. She thanked him and followed him back to the others, where the exchange was made. They quickly said goodbye, and she told him to be careful as they walked out the door and returned to the road. Aha. As much as like to keep what we found, we can barely manage with what we already have. Check your rucksack, see if we can't make a room so we can keep our new acquisitions with us. That's a big bag of grain. Condition 1%. James could see the reason bartering for raw goods was beginning to disappear as the Kingdom of the Isles began to mint their own currency. Carrying around raw grain as a means to make purchases was far too cumbersome. Ah, I see. Just this big thing of grain. What the shit? I've never actually seen the big bag of grain before because I've never done this quest before. Thank you, Penumbral. Yeah, I guess we are just going to go back. We go back to the Temple of Dala. Oh, that's cool. We're going to get defense as a reward, as long as only defense is selected. So I might as well do that now so I don't forget. Cool. It is everybody gets 10 points or 25 to only one person if you only pick one person, or you can get 37.5 points for one character, or it's just 15 points for all three. I'm going to give 15 points to all three. I think it's just probably, I mean, I could give 37.5 to Owen and give him just, he'd have like 90 odd defense at this point, but which would be not bad for him since he's probably not getting a chance to stretch defense too much, but let's see here. We need to go west. Where the hell am I? Oh, that leads up to, yeah, that goes up where I don't give a shit if I go, so we're not going that way. There's nothing under there, which is fine. We're probably looking to go this way. Right? That seems to make more sense. I mean, I love the fact that everybody has... God, this seems like the right way to go. This is Eld Point, yeah. But I love the fact that it's like, I need a pair of leather leggings for the Midsummer Festival. It's like, okay, cool. And so you give her this set of leather leggings, and then you find out it's for her husband to wear. And there's just this brief moment where I'm like, hang on a second. They didn't just fit us. Like, no matter how we adjusted them, they didn't fit us. So what if this guy comes back and is like, oh, hey, leather leggings, that's awesome. And then he puts them on and they fit perfectly. You then have to ask yourself, what exactly went on here? James motioned for help, seeing that they were burdened with a heavy bag of grain. A burly priest named Vabon hurried to their assistance, taking the weight upon his own shoulders. The high priestess will be most pleased to see you, the priest grinned. Do you remember the way to her private garden? Vaguely erotic. Nodding, James turned through a small arch, holding up a woven curtain for Owen and Gorath to pass through. Together, they entered Rise's contemplation glade. Glancing up from where she was trailing a hand through the gentle waves of the pool, she smiled warmly at them. You've brought the grain. You've brought the grain. How did you know? James asked, a little startled by the surety in the high priestess's green eyes. There are certain advantages to living in the presence of a goddess, she laughed. I knew this morning when I awoke that I would be seeing you. I also knew that she will bestow upon one of you the boon of her blessing. Blessing? James asked, intrigued. Staying to assume a more priestess-like posture, she folded her hands in front of her stomach. To the one you choose, she shall, for the rest of his life, watch over him to protect him from harm. This is Dalla's will. James gasped. The goddess will make him invincible? Not as such, no, she said regretfully, but her favor will see to it that it is very difficult for him to be injured by those who seek him harm. Who do you choose to receive this blessing? So this is interesting. Because it says, she will give you the choice of adding 25 points to one character's defense skill or 10 points to all characters' defense skills. And I'm like, right? If I click cancel, does that mean that everybody gets it? I'd rather everybody get the bump here. It's risky, I know. I mean, we can always reload. We haven't dumped a bookmark down, right? So let's just see what happens if I go cancel. They were unable to choose. For a quarter of an hour, they discussed the issue at length, indicating someone else is more deserving of the blessing. Amused by the debacle, Risa intervened. Very well, she said, interposing herself in a good-natured argument. As you seem to all have come to the conclusion that one man alone is not fit for Dalla's blessings, I shall bestow her blessings on you all. Please go now, modest men. The gods love you truly. Aha! Nobody gets buffed. Everybody gets buffed. Now, because we had selected only this, instead of a 10-point boost, we should have all got a 15-point boost. 55 to 70, that sounds right. This is all really good. So Grain Quest was definitely worth doing. Holy crap. Now, let's see. Do I need to do anything else? It's like you do all this. You can look around the High Castle area. I don't know why, because we did the goblin thing and found the spy note and got some gold from it. Damn, I have something in my sock that is bothering the hell out of me. Hang on. So remember when we were in High Castle, just seeing an interesting thing. Let's talk about that. I'm going to find this little thing that's in my sock that's bugging me while we're waiting. So we went to High Castle that one time and we clicked on that magnifying glass, if you remember that happening in the stream. And there was... Hi, everybody. There was a... we walked and walked and walked, and we got to a place where there was like a bridge out or something, and it's like, oh, you can't go to the bridge, and that's not... we can't go any further because of that bridge. And it's like, oh, that sucks. Okay. And we had to turn around and come back. Well, that journey is in real time, like in the story. It takes you 3 days out and 3 days back, so you burn 6 days worth of rations, which really sucks. But the game adds 1 point to your maximum health and stamina every 30 days. That's why we keep going up all the time. I'm like, I don't feel like I've done anything. It's like, no, you've lived. That your max health and stamina are going up every 30 days just by the virtue of walking around and doing things. And because that trip in a click of a button takes 6 days of time, if you have enough rations, you can click it a whole bunch of times. I mean, we have to click it 5 times to burn through 30 days worth of rations, and we would get an extra point. And then if we wanted to do that more and more, like we just want to basically load up on like hundreds of rations, you just click there and click there and click there over and over and over again. We could get our max health and stamina to go up like a few points, and it's kind of like, man, that seems really... What is in my sock that is... Come on, damn it. Where are you? Ah, you're right there. You're right. Is that it? Have I found it? How am I going to get it out? I was touching it before. It's like a little thorn or something. This is why you should never go outside the house, because you'll just attract things into your foot. I could also just take my sock off and leave it off, but I don't want to do that because I like wearing socks. Ow, now my foot just hurts. So it says, at a cost of 5 rations per character, you can add 1 point to your maximum health and stamina as often as you want or can afford. Think about it. I'm like, 5 rations? But it says 6 days. Six days worth of rations. So, do they mean five full ration packs, maybe? 5 full 14 ration packs. Yeah, that must be what they mean. If you do the math properly, that's what I think they're saying. No, that's not right either. 5 rations per character becomes like... I'm gonna find the damn thing. I guess maybe I'm not gonna find the damn thing. Yeah, I have some really nice socks, and I like wearing them, and maybe I'll just take my my Crocs off. So, yeah, if it's every 30 days, you're going over just over 2 stacks per character. So, yeah, I don't know how they're doing the math or how it works out that way, but I'm guessing that's probably not... I don't think it's terribly useful. Like, I don't feel like it's terribly useful anyway. Yeah, some stuff about going through map of Dimwood. If you go east towards Wolfram, a house in Wolfram contains an ambush and 2 rogues. Oh. And that actually is a cool little story-esque thing. Maybe we should go do that. Let's go back to Wolfram real fast. I wish I'd known that. It looks like we're going to burn up a whole bunch of rations anyway. I really like my my Darn Tough socks. This is not a paid endorsement. This is just I happen to like them. And um, Darn Tough socks are made with like over 60. The ones I'm buying are made with over 60% merino wool, and wool is great for being slightly antibacterial enough that that can curb some foot stink for one thing. I don't know if you're prone to that or not. It's just kind of a healthier environment for your feet overall, and are also really good at like wicking moisture away from your feet. I don't know if this is trapped or not. Let's just have a look. Cool. Ah, ah. And yeah, it's a uh, the nice thing about merino wool as well is that merino wool is like it's it is wool from a specific area of sheep, and I think it's specifically merino sheep. I'm not entire. I can't remember this whole thing, but it's like the chest area. So that the wool that comes from a certain area on these sheep is like that's taken off and kept separately. It's soft like lamb's wool. It's soft like alpaca wool. Alpaca wool is actually way softer, um, but it's like a great compromise for making like good, sturdy, strong. Because wool is just a really it's an amazing fabric, like an amazing thread material, whatever you want to, however you want to call it, and it doesn't get enough. I don't think it gets enough love because yes, you really cheap wool, especially like wool that is actually just acrylic, sucks. It straight up sucks. But it can be scratchy or can feel weird or whatever. But if you find yourself some really nice merino wool uh, or alpaca wool or whatever, you might find that the make of it is enough that it doesn't cause you the same issue. And I mean, we have Johnny here in the chat is saying that even expensive wool you find itchy. That can also just be a reaction to the fiber as well. That's what I meant to say. It's a fiber. But yeah, it's so I bought these socks. I managed to get a really good deal on them because it's like $35 Canadian for a set of like if you buy smart wool socks or you buy darn tough socks, you buy like any of these other socks that have a high wool content, and they tend to be about $35 wherever I've gone to go looking for them. And I managed to find these at a place called the Sporting Age, the Sporting something in Toronto. Online, they were having their sale online or whatever, and it worked out that I could buy a dozen pair of socks. I didn't buy a dozen. I think I bought like 10 because I already had like a couple at home, and because I bought one to see if I liked them, and then I went and I bought like another pair, and like this is nice. I'm gonna start wearing these, and then I bought like another 10 just so I'd have a dozen socks that all matched exactly, and they were all $20 a pair. And because I bought so many of them, the shipping was free. And in Canada, you know how they say that it's like core gamers love free 2-day shipping? Canadians love free any day shipping. I don't care if it takes a goddamn like month to get to me or not. If it's free to ship, great. We will take that every time. I've ordered stuff from like Amazon or whatever. I'm not trying to stay off of Amazon these days, but I've ordered stuff from Amazon where it's been like this is going to take 3 or 4 days to get to you, or a week to get to you, or whatever, and then it's here in less than 2 days because there's the warehouse in Richmond, BC, across the water from us, has it, and so they just kind of like gets on a boat, gets over here into your house in like 24 to 48 hours, sometimes even showing up on like a Sunday, which is weird still, I think, but hey, that's how it works. So, you must love the Wish app. I don't love the Wish app. I don't. I used to do a lot of like Chinese drop shipping stuff too, and like Deal Extreme and Banggood and all that. And since like more recently, I've just kind of felt like, how much stuff do I actually need in my house all the time? And I did like the most recent thing I did. I think I've gone onto eBay and I bought stuff from Chinese sellers, and been like, I can do that. But even then, I feel like, why am I populating my house with more and more stuff? If I'm gonna get it, I might as well like I bought these silicone strips that fill in the space between your stove and your countertop, because sometimes you like stuff dribbles down the side or you lose a piece of food down there and you're trying to like fish it out. And so finally I'd had enough of that kind of thing. So I bought these two, you can get in black, white, other colors I think, but I bought two black strips of silicone. I haven't taped them in place. I've laid them in place. They don't quite fit great, but they fit enough. And they just flop into the spot. They have a little tab that kind of falls into the spot, and they just kind of sit there, and then crap gets on them, and I'm like, great, I can just wash them off or wipe them down or whatever and just leave them there. You barely notice them because our counters are black and our stove is black. And in fact, I think if you watch me do the cooking segment on that Loading Ready Live, I had them in place at the time. They were great. Tavern is closed. We should leave that place. It is a silly place. An abandoned house. What time is it? Oh, it's not quite the middle of the day yet. Gorath shouted an alarm. Gods, they just came from nowhere, he said, pointing to the still forming figures before them. What? Grab your weapons, we're under attack. Oof. Well. Hell yeah. Set up some human shields for me, please. Thank you. Oh, I don't like that. You need to stop. Poof. I could powder bag him, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna move over here. Gorath is gonna take this guy down. And that frees up James to do this. And that frees up Owen to do that. These guys are really getting around, too. Well, we need to take care of a few more of these guys. Gorath doing that. James doing that. Owen resting. Gorath, I guess, moving up to here. James hitting that. Wow, how strong is that dude? All right. There we go. James's abilities have increased. Hello, where did all those guys go? I wasn't reading the screen, so I don't even know if it said something. James knocked on the door. From inside the house, they heard some mumbled grunts and curses. At last, the door swung open, and a little man with a wisp of graying beard joined them in front of the house. Pah! I figured the spell might go fuzzly on me. No one was supposed to get past my little pets. Now I'll have to reconjure me some... We were very nearly killed by your little pets. Not a very hospitable way to welcome friendly visitors. Never minding the fact they didn't invite you. But if you got hurt... I wasn't meaning for innocent folk to get involved. It's just that the only guests I receive these days come from the Northlands. You have friends in the Northlands? Friends? No, not as such. The visitors I receive are never welcome. Goblins mostly, sent from old Belly Khan to pinch my spell books and formulas. They don't much care for me interfering with them, working spells and such for Baron Gabbard and North Warden. I was hoping these illusions I was making would be more effective, but apparently they ain't worth a gnat's spit. Need to work on them more. Let me give you something so you can get yourself fixed up. That won't be necessary. We're fine. Who say anything about you? Baron gets wind I went around inflicting grief on innocent bystanders. I'll be dicing taters with the kitchen boys or singing duets with old mash-brain Tamney. Oh, okay, reference to Tamney. You'll find a pouch of 200 gold in that little chest over in the corner. If you go north from here a bit, you'll run across the Temple of Tith. I imagine they can put you to rights again, but a word of advice. You see Buglies in front of you in the future? Instead of fighting them, run the other way. So, that's Patris. That's a fun little thing. I didn't realize we just made money. We will get him as a character, actually, later in the game. But we get to meet him now. We don't need to do anything else here, I don't think. Let's slam down that bookmark one more time. And it's almost 9 o'clock, but let's see what we're going to do from here. Oh, yeah. If we go to North Warden, if you've already been here in Chapter 1 and solved Minstrel Tamney's mini-quest, you can talk to him again now, twice. Yeah, F it. Okay, great. Let's, Oh, I see. This shop, apparently, it sounds like we can't go in... I think it's this shop we can't go in right now. Until after dark. We're looking for the tavern just because. Right. We are definitely going to North Warden to meet Tamney one more time. Sorry, it's just Jaded is talking about living in Newfoundland and how mail works there, and it just caught my eye for a second that mail had to be routed through the Montreal sorting office. That was if it was going from St. John's to St. John's. That sucks. That sucks so bad. Oh, it's funny, though. All right. Well, first... Oh, no. Single rations? Ugh. That went up at least, so that's nice. First, let's bard. And made 68 sovereigns. Don't worry, they'll owe us one. Let us buy rations. In fact, let's get James a little worse used to haggling, I guess. So look, if you're gonna roll with our crew, you're gonna have to haggle. Good haggling, by the way. Definitely be like, I'm not paying that. And be like, you're right, I'll give you a discount. How about 1 gold and 1 silver? Like, you drive a hard bargain there, barkeep. $13, $14, $7. Okay, so yeah, we're buying 7. So 1, 2, enter is not a shortcut. 3, 4, A is a shortcut. 7. That makes such a difference. If you don't think it does, please trust me when I say that makes such a difference. I'm gonna have to dump some of these jewels at some point to someone who cares. Talk. Gambler has no money. Surprise, surprise. Tragic, whatever. Failed love affair. Exit. All right, so after dark. Okay, that must just be a house then. That's the Temple of Tith. Let's see. So maybe just past this. What if I could just see where I'm going? All right. So Arms of Dala should... Guess we cleaned him out. Arms of Dala was around here somewhere, I thought. I guess we've missed it. Oh well. Well, let's sleep a little bit before everyone complains. Oh, there was a barn. This barn looked familiar. We've been here before. Ah well, it's fine. Den Camp on the Teeth. We've been to Den Camp on the Teeth. There's kind of nothing to do here. We could bard. Crumbling Magician. I can probably get rid of my other Rings of Prandir then. Let's see. We'll get rid of at least one, the one. And maybe get rid of that one too. Here, take this Ring of Prandir off me. It's still active. We have this extra herbal pack, which I don't think we need. Yeah, that pack will be enough. Would you like some extra Luton's Concentrate, he asked. Sure. 83 sovereigns for that? You can have both of them. Did you have anything cool? Largely Dan's Delusions. Let's see. Bane of the Black Slayers. Did we pick that up? Nightfingers. I don't think we have Bane of the Black Slayers. I could probably just buy it right now. Sure. Ah, shopkeeper frowned. Sorry, I barely make a profit off scrolls as it is. My suppliers don't haggle, and the sight of these things scare off the more superstitious of my buyers. Take it at its price I'm asking, or leave off. Here, I'll take it. Just stood there for an hour in his shop reading it. The Infinity Pool. Yeah, don't know what it's for yet. Very expensive. Might even... Oh, yeah. Horn of Algon Cocoon. $12.50. We have one of these. He probably wants... I can only give you 475 sovereigns for it. So, I believe what it does is summon hellhounds. And there's only 6 blows on the damn thing. It's a great way to make money if we need to make money for any reason at all. And we don't. This is the house that had the weird, you need a password. Yeah. An abandoned shovel factory. No one has lived in that room for some time. Or in there. Yes. I've never been to Barmaid. How was it? How are we doing on rations, by the way? Let's have a look. Okay, we only burned the one to get here. That's great. Bard! 57 sovereigns. I guess that happens when you try to drink stuff. Sometimes you don't drink stuff. Failed love affair. Very nice Keshian knife. Let's see. In. That dude also, the innkeeper also has a Keshian knife and is threatening us with it. It's 9 o'clock. We're gonna briefly turn that barding thing off. And then we're going to drop a save, because this is a responsible thing we should do every time we go to break. And then I'm going to give you some music to listen to by clicking that again. And I'm going to go to commercial, and we'll see you again in a few minutes. Please enjoy the commercials. Gameplay. All right. I did mention this earlier, and I'm going to do it again. Season 11 DVDs and Blu-rays are done. I'm holding them in my hands, and this is the first time you're seeing them. Congratulations. We are trying to let everybody know that if you backed the Kickstarter for the DVD tier and then got asked if you could get the Blu-ray, if you want the Blu-ray instead, because there was a backer survey question to be like, oh, we're going to do a Blu-ray if you want to change your thing. Or you have pre-ordered either the DVD set or the Blu-ray set off the store. We're trying to let people know that you can, you should have gotten an email from the Lure store. And there have been a few people who didn't, or there's been even some people who did and was like, but I didn't order, but we have an order for them. Like, the fact is I don't think I screwed this up. So if you got contacted, there's probably a reason, and we can help sort that out. That's the Lure store at pmcfulfillment.com. That email address, that's our customer service people. And if you contact them, they're the ones who wrote you. But if you contact them, they can help you work that out. And we did have somebody, in fact, who was like, hey, I never got the email, but I'm sure I backed. And when I went to check it out, it turns out that, because Kickstarter is supposed to like mark whenever people bid on, if you pledge for a tier and then you like pledge for another tier, I believe it's supposed to add you to both tiers. I haven't ever done a Kickstarter before in my life. So when I look at the things in the back, it was like, oh yeah, this person did pledge for a tier, and then they also seem to have an additional pledge that wasn't tied to a tier. So we're finding, like, I'm like, Jesus, does that mean that somebody we might have like a couple people who have pledged for one tier, like an expensive tier that didn't have the DVD, and then also decide they want to pledge for the other tier as well. And if they did, then I'm gonna probably miss those people in the mix. And there's not that many people I think we're gonna miss, but it's like, I hope we kind of. So I'm gonna go over our things and figure it out. But that's why we're trying to publicize this, because it's like, you should have been contacted, and if you didn't, contact Lure store, LRR store at pmcfulfillment.com. To work out what's going on. Because if you think that you have one coming to you, and can kind of give us some information to figure that out, we will help you figure that out. And we did figure it out, and we're going to make sure that it's okay. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Huh? Where's my mouse? So we are leaving Den Camp and working our way towards. There's no combats right now in Den Camp, and there's no combats in the North Warden area. So what I'm going to do, because we know we're going to meet with Tamni, and I have no idea when he's going to stop us, I'm just going to turn the barding thing on. It's only going to matter to James here, but that's fine. And it's getting dark. Okay, so this is weird. It's getting dark, but as you'll notice, it's still bright out. But I sold my Ring of Brandir. So why is that happening? Let's do this real fast. It was as good as he knew how to make it. So, did we just goof ourselves into permanent night fire? Like, that would be rad if that's what happened. I am totally on board with that. Nope, it figured its shit out. Oh, Cassiel, you played this as well. I'm seeing a lot of people in chat are like, man, I played this. It's like, yeah, we're old. This game came out in 1993. I was in high school. I think we picked it up when it came out on CD, which would have been either 94 or 95, I think is when it might have hit CDs. Maybe 94? Not entirely certain. But hell yeah. It's, North to North Warden. Now, if I remember correctly, Tammany was like hanging out in the trees, but let's see if... So that will actually literally take me to North Warden. Might as well go in, why not? A lot of dead mortal bodies around here. Go in for what supplies, really, when you think about it. There's a shop. All right, the Ironmonger. King and story, Hercules, in his ancient glory, fighting for his life with a plastic knife. What's our whetstones situation? 13 and 5. Meanwhile, we're like, hey, I'm just gonna hang out, polish my sword in front of you to show, like, it's like when you walk into a guitar store and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna pick up this guitar I just want to play Stairway at least once so you know that I know what I'm doing. Anyway. The funny thing is when everybody talks about, like, oh, you know, you're, guess what? You're old. I don't feel that old. Like, I am, I'm 41. And, when I turned 40, I was like, I'm 40 now. I should get my shit together. But really, I was like, I remember being alive when my dad turned 40, and I'm like, I haven't had any kids yet. I should maybe get my shit together. But yeah, at 41, I'm like, but you know what? That's fine. I intend to live another 80 years, and, you know, it'll be great. And I don't, you know, it is that whole thing about, oh, you're as young as you feel. And it's like, well, my body could feel a little younger, and I'd prefer that. I'd like to not have, like, little pains and stuff. But that's mostly my fault for not trying to, you know, your body does a lot for you when you're in your 20s and 30s to kind of be like, I'm going to see you through some of these problems, but you're going to start getting older. And as you get older, you're going to realize that you should actually try to stretch a lot all the time. And I'm like, I need to learn how to do that shit. So anyway, we can either talk or leave. So let's talk. Left as a legacy to North Warden by a baron who cared more about leisure than practicality. The Great Hall was still maintained with a military discipline, no corner of it left unscrubbed or cluttered by the unnecessary.
I wished to speak to you.
You should know that there are not many things that anger me, but as I feel I've never have been angry until this very moment. As I feel I never have been angry until this very moment. Hi, Baron. If I have given you offense... Every day my men ride to the border of the Northlands to hold back Delican's obscene dogs. Every day they thrust their lives into the breach to buy another day of this kingdom's freedoms. These mountaintops are littered with the bodies of men who have given their lives in that cause, and you spit on their graves by bringing a mortal into the castle. I should hang you from the bailey. He has cause to be here. Prince Arutha believes his mortal may have information that can lead us to the Nighthawks. Damn Prince Arutha, and he has no conception of what the mortal are like, and the fact that he has taken this mortal's word proves it. Seigneur Locklear told me the story about this mortal, and I no more believe in his virtue than I believe in Delacon's strength. Baron, I have a duty to perform, and if in the name of that duty I must offend a Baron, then so be it, as I have had cause to come to this place. I need a few answers, and I sincerely believe it would benefit the both of us to help one another. If you choose to block me, then I am sure that Prince Arutha would be more than happy to inform King Liam that one of his subjects has deemed himself above imperial courtesy. Seigneur, as a border baron, I owe fealty to King Liam and he alone. What Prince Arutha may or may not do is his own affair. But if by answering your questions I may be shod of you all the more quickly, I am at your disposal. What do you want? Helping out? Wow! Oh, the big, just curliest hairs on these balls. Who is in charge of your guards here? I would be interested in speaking to him. My guards are hard at work. If you wish to speak to the guards, I can arrange for you to walk guard duty. Seigneur, and will not have their schedules disrupted. Shall I have Lieutenant Aaron put you on the night watch? Yes? Sure! Sounds marvelous. When do I start? Lieutenant Aaron, I have a new recruit I would like for you to assign. Game over. we get conscripted, and then we get our asses kicked. It was late, breathing warmth into his cup. Why are we here? We don't have to come here in Chapter 2 at all, but now some shit's happening. It was late. Breathing warmth into his cupped hands, James paced the frost-touched flagstones between the postern and bailey gates and looked out into the darkness beyond the castle. Nothing was moving in the mists. Like the world within the gates, things seemed orderly in the extreme. Too orderly. Even in Krondor, the prince's control was far from complete, with the upright man running matters in the sewers and scoundrels of various stripes calling the shots in the poorer quarters. Here it was as if the world outside Northwarden simply did not exist in any other context than how Baron Gabbett dictated it to his men. It would be entirely too easy for an outside force to take advantage of the rigor with which he ruled his men. Oh, I see. Arclight, you make a good point. I don't think we get to meet King Liam in this game. Maybe we do. The fact that the prince sits in Krondor and rules the principality. I used to think that it was like you have your kingdom, and then the kingdom might be divided into principalities that the princes will like overlook, but they are all like, pay field to the king kind of deal. And then the dukedoms would be other pieces, and then you might have pieces of that divided up into like all the stuff for earls and viscounts and marquises and maybe barons. But then I found out later that it's like, well, from looking at how the SCA is run, I'm like, oh well, the SCA might be a little more concerned with the believability of this. And yeah, there are areas where it's like a principality is a larger piece of whatever, of like a certain area, but like there are it doesn't seem like everybody's under everybody else. It's like you can be carved out a piece of land, but that land might be quite small. And as a baron, it's like, well, you get this smaller piece of land and that's your thing to look after. But a duke might have a larger piece to look after. So yeah, I don't really know how any of that works. And I also don't know where King Liam's seat is, because I haven't read the books in a long time. And it might be Krondor. But we just don't ever get to see him. So yeah. And I'm not in the SCA. The only SCA experience I've had is when I've gone with Corey. She invited us to come enjoy some time with the SCA when they're doing Midsummer's Night, 12th Night. They were doing 12th Night, and as a celebration, and which was a lot of fun. And I'll leave what the SCA question is to people in the chat who know what it is. Don't be brief, but be informative. All right, so let's see. It's time Jimmy the Hand did something a little off schedule, James muttered, scaling the bailey wall with little trouble. Settling himself in a patch of shadow, he focused his eyes on the courtyard below and folded his arms across his chest. Now it was time for the real guard duty. I would be most interested why you felt it necessary to have me awake into the middle of the night. It would have been preferable if you had come when I had called. Your guard shifts are utterly inadequate, Baron. Last night while I was on guard duty, I decided to vary the schedule a bit and see what happened. When I watched the Bailey Gate when I was supposed to be on the other side of the castle, I noticed a soldier slipping a note to another man who was waiting outside the castle gate. A few minutes later, when I shifted to the opposite side, again I saw another instance of someone attempting to steal a griefmaker from the castle armory. I stopped him, naturally. There were several other instances. And the note passed through the Bailey Gate. Harmless, a love letter from a soldier quartered here named Corby to a girl named Thea. Ooh, probably Thea Halfgate. You've become too regimented here. Your schedules are known outside the castle, very likely made known by a spy working within these very walls. I urge you to take greater precautions and to reevaluate your staff. It could be the downfall of this castle. I shall consider it. In the meantime, I ask that you accept something as a token of gratitude. There's a suit of Ulalico armor that I no longer have a need for. You may have it if you wish. It makes no difference to me. I think we know what we came here to find out. It would do me good to know that if we ever meet again, you'll receive your royal guest with a little more courtesy. I will take it under advisement. Please find your own way out. Very well. I thank you for your outstanding hospitality. We will be going now. Talk again?
I wished to speak to you.
Glad to see you once more. Sorry about my earlier behavior. Just previous to your arrival, I was informed that a few of my men were killed and the issue was still in my mind. Please let me know, however, if I may be of assistance. Actually, Well, no. When I first saw you, it occurred to me to ask you something, but whatever it was has utterly slipped my mind at the moment. Will it bother you if I come and ask about it later? We have a few things we need to be attending to elsewhere. Go on, then I have a few things to do myself. You're most gracious. Thanks and farewell. We are out of here. That was pretty good, too. And who is carrying this armor? He is carrying the armor. Look at that Ulalico armor. I do like that our presence here is literally, excuse me, it's literally just, let's take this dude down a peg briefly. Tamni over here. There we go. Music drifted on the wind, and at first believing himself losing his wits to the grind of traveling, James paused, then picked at the very melodic strains of The Fishwife's Daughter coming from a clump of trees near them. Abruptly, the music stopped as an unhappy-looking young man dropped out of a tree, his lute slung over back.
The Baron wants me?
Isn't it great we get to hear all the voices that we missed in Chapter 1? We get to hear them again now. Please tell me he hasn't sent you. I'm too exhausted right now to play, and I've run all the things I know into the ground. That lute, holy shit. I've heard it's a dire day in the keep when the minstrel is without charm. What's bothering you? When one of the Baron's new recruits asked for musical instruction, I hardly agreed, sacrificing my morning walks to make time for his lessons. We started immediately. I demonstrated for him a simple royal scale, ascending eighth notes, progression from C abdicant to A coronant in half steps, kingdom time. Even after 2 weeks, he couldn't find all the notes. He refuses to practice, he can't tell the difference between a tuned and untuned lute, and he patently refuses to learn how to read minstrel writs. I don't understand why he desired lessons at all. Perhaps he thought it would be easier. Everyone does. They believe you simply pick up an instrument and magically make sounds of its own accord without so much as a whit of your concentration. Learning music takes discipline, the same as learning how to use a sword. Perhaps you could give us a lesson sometime. You're in luck. I'm free just now, and I've recently restrung my lute. I don't like restringed. I don't know why. There is, of course, the matter of a small fee which Baron Gabot proposes for services rendered outside the garrison complement. It would be 75 sovereigns for the lesson. I realize it's a bit steep, but part of the cost covers the price of the practice lute itself. Do you still want the instructions? So we're getting a practice lute. All right, nice. Yes. We are your obedient pupils, musician. I already know where to find the notes in the lute, but beyond that, I'm completely in the dark. I'm sure of it. You'll find a lute but there behind you. Play all scale the notes from middle C. Play all scale the notes from middle C to the G. In quarter notes, playing only the coronant notes, and then come back down to middle C again. I've never heard coronant as a term. I don't know if abdicant and coronant are specific like reference to, like, if it's something that actually exists in come on, Beej, what did they call this again? Medieval music, I think, is technically it, but cormorant is a bird, Johnny Glitch. Coronant would have to do with like crown notes, because of the corona being crown, which I believe is also how cornea gets its name as well. But anyway, whatever. Good. That is the royal scale. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is that pentatonic? No, it isn't. It's up to the fifth. Okay. Now I want you to play the same scale, but instead of playing E cornant, play the E abdicant. All the rest of the notes are the same. So this is probably going to be natural, and abdicant would probably be flats. Let's see. Exactly, that's the noble scale. Together, the royal scale and the noble scale are the basis of most of our music, though occasionally we use the Empress or Keshian scale. The Empress's scale is played by playing C cornant, D abdicant, E abdicant, progress to F cornant, G cornant, A abdicant. Okay, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, and finally C. I know it sounds complicated, but try it. What is that? I should have been, if I just stopped for a second, I could have been like, because it's whole, half, whole, half is your standard major scale. But whole, half, minor scale, whole, half, whole, half, minor scale, whole, half, whole, half, whole. No, I don't quite remember it. It's the Oriental scale, as we've referred to it over here. But yeah, I think. Hi, Molly. Cornant and abdicant could actually be referred to majoring and minoring. So cornant I don't think is sharp because he's referring to play C cornant and then D cornant, and it's like that's probably play C natural and D natural. They wouldn't have sharps and flats. They would say abdicant as a modification, and it sounds like what they're doing is flattening the notes, making them into a half step. So it's like you don't go the full step, you go the half step. And that might even be dependent upon how a lute is strung or played. So I'm making a guess here. But yeah, it's basis of the royal scale is the major key or major scale, and the noble scale sounds like a minor scale. You may master the lute yet. I want you to repeat the things that I've taught you for an hour every day. Once you can play those comfortably, we can have another lesson in months when I walk back here again. Forgive me, but I have to go and prepare some songs for the Baron Gabot's dinner tomorrow night. Take care and keep practicing with your lute. We shall. Thanks for the lesson. Barding's gone up. Let's have a look. He was like 44 or something. 68! And of course the other guys have gone up as well, but they didn't because they're currently at 100%. They're basically as good as he is. But let's see here. Let's just leave it on Barding for a second. So now it says we can talk to him again. Here, have a shell. Why the hell not? In fact, let's give Owen the armor to carry. He's a strong young man. You can give the lute, which has 125 charges. That is way more than any other lute has. So let's just walk forward a lot. There we go. That should trigger the... He has nothing on him. And we'll just walk back and hope that we can trigger Tamni again. Tamni was nearby, lured by the jongler's faint lute playing. James called for him to come out wherever he was hiding. Sulkily, the minstrel complied. Have you changed your mind about the music lesson? I promise you'll learn enough to impress your friends at home. What do you say? It's like, yes, we did the first one. Whatever. We are at your command, musician. Go ahead and use my spare lute. It's there behind you. Do me a favor and strum the strings. It's what I thought. I haven't gotten around to tuning it today. Okay, strum the top string. Since someone stole my tuning fork last week, we'll just have to call that string E. Now put your finger on the 5th fret of the first string and strum the first and second strings together. Okay, it's tuned on the 5th fret, which means this is tuned like a guitar. Oh wait, no, top string. Top string. String below that. 5th. Interesting. Okay, that's good. The second string's in tune. Try doing the same thing with the second and third strings. These might all be MIDI calls still. I didn't actually look to see if they're tracks or not. Let's see if I can bring up the my synth thing here fast. Okay, let's see. Second string's in tune. Do the same thing with second and third strings. CD audio. The third string is a bit abdicant. Turn the tuning peg for the third string till the two strings are in harmony. Try the fourth string now. One of the things I love about when I was in concert band, when we were tuning, is being taught to listen for the beats. When you are so close to being in tune, but you're not, and you can hear the wave of two people playing together, and you can hear how you can hear a whoa, 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 whoa. You can hear that you guys are not quite perfectly in phase, and so then it's like you like, where am I? So you like, I'm playing saxophone, so somebody else is playing a normal note. My friend Brian, generally the guy who played this game with, actually, Brian would be playing usually because he could actually really. He was good, and so I'd be like, okay, drop my, so be like whoa 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 whoa, and I drop my jaw bit, and whoa 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 whoa. I'm like, okay, I'm sharp, and so you pull out a bit, you try to get bang on to where you're supposed to be. So yeah, try the fourth string now. Good, fifth string is. Fifth string is a bit odd. Rather than putting your finger on the fifth fret, put your finger on the fourth fret of the fourth string and string the fourth and fifth. It's a guitar. We're tuning a guitar, and I've always heard top string referred to as the one that was the furthest away from you when you look down. They mean the top string is the first string being the lowest string, it sounds like. Yeah, as Arclight says, it's an 8-string lute, and I'm like, yeah, but we're talking about 6 strings here. And the last string is tuned like the second string finger on the 5th fret, 5th string, and strum the 5th and 6th. He is definitely describing a guitar. Excellent. Unfortunately, I don't have time to teach you anything else, but at least you'll know how to tune your instrument. That's super valuable. After all, if your lute is out of tune, how will anyone know if you're playing the song correctly? Please forgive me, but I got to get an arrangement put together before dinner time tomorrow night, so I have to go. Keep practicing. You're showing real promise. We shall. Thanks for the lesson. All right. 82. So that's pretty good. In that short of time, we went up from him not being great to him getting a huge boost. And this being available in Chapter 2, I have no idea if it's available later or whatever, but James got a huge boost in barding. And depending on how much we got time, we can just settle down and burn through a bit of this. Good. Now, how did that bring you up a lot? Brought you up 1%. So let's play this another 10 times and see what happens. That's maybe a little more than 10. Gets to 89. Play another 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 96. 98. 100. Oh, Molly, yeah. Aware that his smallest mistakes were the cause of great grief to other. That is such a mood. Even when I'm playing at home and I'm just like, I didn't like that. And it's funny how much when I'm practicing, and I have not practiced in a while, I need to pick up my guitar. But whenever I do pick up my guitar to play, and I realize that I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't played in a while and I can really feel it, but I'll sometimes be like, you know what, just play through it and it's just me here. I'm just me enjoying this. I'm not gonna put too much I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself to make that happen. So we have now done we've now done so much barding, completely unnecessary barding. We're gonna throw that in a chest somewhere and give it to somebody else in the future. I wish I could just take it to Patras and be like, we're gonna be back for you in about 6 months. In the meantime, can you just play the hell out of this? But what this does tell us is that the grain quest was this is a whole walkthrough for the grain quest, and the fact that we did the grain quest and it said now go do these other things. And you might want to crack open these chests, which we didn't bother doing because I've kind of not given a crap about them overall. They're not things that help us finish other quests. Getting to open some other chests, not really that helpful. Where we're at right now is we're so close to Kenting Rush. It's just easier to walk to Kenting Rush, go to the Temple of Kahuli, and we'll be back on where we want to be, where we can start warping around again. Now, part of that is that we want to do these other weird quests. And I'm just looking at the list of these other things that we can do. One is apparently we have to go to Quester's View, which is fairly south. It's near Krondor. And the other one, now that we get in the grain quest, I think we pretty much should go to Quester's View. That should be the first thing we do from there. And that's not hard to get to, and we can pretty much warp really close to it, in fact. So let's wow, Owen's just taking a beating. Let's go to Kenting Rush, which is this way. No, it isn't. It's this way. Yeah, and Owen was whistling. Suddenly aware his traveling companion had grown irrepressibly cheerful over the last few miles, Gorath turned and favored the squire with an inquisitive stare. Why the sudden lift in your spirits? Gorath asked. We're heading towards my uncle Corvallis' estates in Cavill Keep, assuming we keep heading this way. We are going that direction, aren't we? Yes, we are. Owen talked as they traveled, pointing out familiar geographical features. He related a good deal of history about the region's history. Sentence. As they pushed through a hedgerow, soon they found themselves back upon a major road. And there's the Temple of Kahuli. We don't need the Knight's Piece right now. We're going to need it later, I think, in Chapter 3. I know we're in this... I know we're in the vicinity to be able to do stuff, but that's not something we actually need to do right now. So let's go into the Temple of Kahuli. And... any talking? A scream echoed in the temple. Right. Don't worry about this, Justice. We have talked about this before. Screams are like a thing, but we can't talk to anybody who's important here at the moment. So we're going to teleport. We teleport to Killian. No, we're going to go to technically the Temple of Silban is the closest. But oh no, if we go to Killian and we go south, we actually skip this entire run and end up near Quester's View really fast. So we'll go here and then voop down near Quester's View and then we're there. So let's do that. Now that everyone is at 100% Bard, can you play Giant Steps? Oh, Molly, that would be amazing. That's a 200 Sovereign Warp. Any other more expensive warps in the game so far? Nope, that's the most expensive warp in the game. That's so far anyway. It's funny that I remember when I was playing. I never used to practice my saxophone, even when I had private lessons. My private lessons were essentially my excuse to like. That's how I will practice, and it used to frustrate my my sax teacher a lot because he was like, you know, you could be a lot better at this. You know, you're good as you are. You could actually be really good if you would just practice your damn instrument. And I was like, yeah, but I don't ever want to do work ever. And he's like, I can tell that. Well, we're just going to keep doing this. Your parents are going to keep paying for it, and everyone's happy. I'm like, okay, cool, as long as everybody's happy. Because he knew he couldn't really convince me. Oh, damn, I thought we would get through this. So, that's good. In my last year, he said to me, you know, we've been doing all this stuff we've been doing for so long, and you still like don't want to practice or do whatever. I would really like you to have some sort of goal, though. And I said, okay, well, what do you think? And he's like, would you at least play at the recital I hold every year just for all of my students? I'm like, oh, that also sounds like work. He's like, okay, cool. Well, while we're on that topic then, you should do some work. What would you need to do? Like, what do you want to work on? It's your last year. You're in grade 12. It's your last year here. What do you want to work on? What's the one thing that's going to get you excited about playing and practicing and doing all that? And I said, well, like, I do a lot of what we're doing in jazz band right now is a lot of fun, but I don't really have any good information on how to play jazz better, like ways I could make that better. He's like, oh yeah, because he has a jazz ensemble of his own. He recorded a jazz album and everything too. And he's like, okay, so I think you could keep up. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to start training you on jazz scales and a bunch of other stuff. And if you can show me that you can like keep up and do the work the way I expect you to, then we'll make your year of lessons about that. You're gonna have to do all the scales, like you're gonna have to do your standard scales in like whatever you've been doing, but you're also going to be you got to play through your normal book, which is not jazz scales, but you got to get through your parts of the book. And if you do that, we will set aside part of your lesson to run you through some very basic stuff. And then as you're doing that, we will practice the other things that come along with that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of get behind that. And so that's what we did. There we go. We practiced. I'm gonna sell that thing in Lamut. We practiced a lot of. We practiced the things in my book to get that stuff done. And he's like, and he was checking me off. Like, he's like, I would come in and I'd play. He's like, nope, come back next week. And I come back next week and play through the page you wanted me to do again. He's like, okay, that you can do. Yes, we'll check you off. Play this new one right now. And I played the new one. He's like, nope, you gotta go practice. 2 more weeks on that one. Oh, here's one you did in 1 week. So good for you. It was great. And then he, and eventually, yeah, we got to a point where I was like, you're playing Take the A Train. Let's start. Let's get moving on that. And so I started playing, I started with Take the A Train. And once worked through enough of that, he was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to teach you Perdido. So we worked on Perdido. We were going to work on a third one as well. And then so we were working on those things. And he said, now I want you to play in the recital I have coming up. That's just for my students. I'm like, I don't want to do recitals. And I have opinions on this, which will, when I talk about those Snow White notes, one of the shamisen anime I'm watching this season, you will hear me wax on about that. But so I did he's like, okay, well, if you're not going to play, then we're not going to spend any time on it. because I think you should play in front of a crowd. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think I'm going to be. And he's like, no, you're going to be fine. You play in your jazz bands all the time, whatever. I really want you to put the work in and do this. I'm like, okay, you think I can do it, then like, and actually do the whole thing and have a proper time with it, then I will do it. I'm like, great. Let's give it a shot. And he said, and in fact, what I'll do is, you're going to need an accompanist, so we're going to try to find you time to practice with the accompanist, and we couldn't find time. So she just basically, and Vicky was her name, I think, and she was amazing. And she basically, she came in and just played the backing track, like the thing that you have to do at the recital. We hadn't played together at all, and she just played, and I just played the solo on top of it, which was a lot of fun to be able to do that. Everybody else in his class, all his different students from all different ages, all were playing like classical pieces or etudes or whatever, and he put me at the end of the show so that so and it's again a small show, but he put me at the end of the show to be like, all right, now you're gonna play your thing. And so I did, which was very cool. And he had also part of the thing was like, I'm not gonna just teach you this, I'm gonna teach you how to read a fake book, which I have completely forgotten, but also I'm going to teach you why, when you see in all the jazz charts that you're looking at, why you see a bunch of the progressions that are written this way. The reason why they had the chord progressions they did, and they're so fast, is because they're telling you what key you need to be in, like what you need to be playing over top of. But if you look, the progression is the same over and over, right? And I'm like, yeah. He says, actually, this progression is a very famous jazz progression. The one that's why I've given you Take the A Train to do. The progression is based largely. It's based on a this specific thing. And he said, now all we have to do is just write something that happens, and you can play an excellent solo if you just play this scale, because this scale actually moves between these four chords as long as you start here and you do this. And so it became like this kind of thing. And he's like, that's why you learn this stuff. You don't just make it up as you go. Obviously, if you really learn the theory behind it, you can see how easy it is to just play something very simply written, because you start to identify this is what this is supposed to look like, and so just play that way. Like you just play those things, and all of a sudden you sound great. And if you want to slow down, if you want to stop at points, if you want to resume at other points, you just have to know what it sounds like when you're going to get into playing those things at those points. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like cheating. He's like, yeah, it's like cheating. If you get really good at it, then you start moving within and you start not playing this. But this is like the way to start cheating your way into playing jazz, to playing like solo jazz on top of this, is just knowing how these things work. And I'm like, oh my God. And there's a great Vox. I've been talking about jazz for so long. Hi, Matt. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. We're talking jazz because we just spent a whole bunch of time playing barding. So anyway, there's a great Vox video from their Earworm series where they break down the why Giant Steps was such a big deal. This is getting me back on the thing that when Molly mentioned, hey, can you guys play Giant Steps now that you're like 100% bards? And Giant Steps was this sea change in how people like approached thinking about jazz, because John Coltrane did this, and people listening like, man, this is real good. Yeah, man, I love this. This is real good stuff, right? And musicians were like, I can't. What is he doing? And the Earworm video does a great job at laying out how John was a great theorist and could use the circle of fifths to help him decide how to move his music around, and how he moved between keys. But as he moved between keys, he was always obeying the circle of fifths, and how even the progression was even obeying it, but it was something no one had thought to do before, because it had to do with, like, if you think of it like a color wheel, being able to move to colors that are complementary but not complementary, like tertiary, and that kind of movement, and that, in art, people had thought about this kind of thing for years, but no one had really thought about it in music in the same way, and he was somebody who was doing that work. We need to go south, and it's getting very hard to see, so we're just gonna stay overnight. Where the hell are we? Oh, we're near Hawks Hollow. That's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, I guess I could go to Hawks Hollow's jewelry store while we're at it. Oh. I guess I could have this fight with a couple of spellcasters and spiders? Why did they? Jesus. Alright. I cannot get to that dude. I can get to this dude. And then Owen just straight up does that. Gorath is lost 60. So we're going to probably hope that this does the work. And we're going to take him out too. Good. Owen's going to blind a spider. Come on, James. Yeah. The battle was won. Oh. Dude got some armor. And some restoratives. There we go. And a powder bag. I grab my powder bag. I'm running short on time, and then they single me out to run a check for a crime. And on the intercom, I hear this voice too sweet. We've been delayed. There is a fog. Why don't you take a seat? So I sit around, wasting time at the pen. Here comes the beatbox. I got the volume at 10, and he's thanking me for saving him a space. I look around the whole room there in a single place. I said, I don't mind shifting to a different beat, as long as I can hear it from across the street. And some pocket sand, yeah. I feel like more people are showing up and hanging out here. This is great. Hello. We are low on... We're not really low on anything at the moment. And that's fine, and that's fine, and... I mean, you got flame casted, but apparently that does nothing. It cool. All right. Where in God's name is Hawks Hollow from here? Did we miss it? We just keep missing it. Oh, it's because it's right down here. That's why. It's hidden away in a corner. Look, there's a bag. You know how it is when you just leave a... Right, that's that note because of the dude who was saying, hey, people are going to steal your shit, my dude. Sure. 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 Can't sell the guild seals, which is great. I mean, they have been forged, so... Really want to... You know what? Actually, because I can buy a lot of the other emeralds in other places, maybe what I'll do is I'll also sell this one here as well. So I know I have multiple places I can come buy it. Don't need to have it for the time being anyway, so... Yeah, I'll accept that. We're just basically seeding them everywhere at this point, so that's real good. And... What's that amulet go for? Yeah, we're not going to do that, but that's fine. Can you sell a book? No, you can't. He's not interested in a book. I learned it from a book. Yeah. Abandoned tavern. It looks like a barn. I just wish the game was a little more consistent about some of these things, but... right, let's get haggling on here. And I want to know, you've got 8. So we're going to do this, haggle, sure. Share with party. You got 12, you got 14, you got 12. We're down by 4. Not going to worry about it. We don't even need to turn on... see, now that we're 100% barding, all 3 of us, we definitely do not need to have it turned on again. We can just come into shops and bard now. I don't have to do this dance anymore. Now James plays. Oh, that's very interesting, Molly. That you took you a few tries until you found an instrument that really worked for you. 71 sovereigns. When I was a lot younger, oh, interesting. The question had been innocent enough. While he had meant nothing by asking the woman what she was doing in the tavern, James found he was suddenly at the mercy of a rather pathetic street hawker. I'm trying to sell these, the woman said. She opened up a rucksack and drew out a handful of cracked seashells, handing them over to James to examine. Have you tried to sell them to a merchant somewhere, like in town? A few places, James asked. A few places, but I found they won't buy anything they don't already have on their shelves. Why do they just need more of what they already have? I would think they would jump at the chance to stock items they don't have around. James shrugged and handed the shells back. I'm no merchant, but it might be a matter of knowing what your regular buyers come after. If you never have anyone asking for shells, it probably doesn't make sense for you to waste your money trying to buy them. That's a very good point. Love affair with a married woman. We've talked about that before. So yeah, when I was a lot younger, we're gonna stay here until we're healed. When I was a lot younger, what did I end up? I had played. I played. Obviously, had music programs, so you get a chance to like bang on the xylophones and stuff like that. The metallophones were the most fun, but the glockenspiels and stuff too. But somebody stole some of our money. Whatever. But after that part of the music program and having to sing and stuff like that too, they also had violin starting in grade 4 as an extra program, and I wanted to do it. My parents signed me up for it, and so for 4 years I played violin and also never practiced at home because I just couldn't be bothered. But I was good enough at it that it was like, this is fun. I like doing this and I like being good at a thing. And eventually... that also meant that when I got to grade 7, in grade 6, I got put in something. I asked to be put in something called Super Bows because it was a way to like play more. But didn't we ended up not like that was good for grade 6. And then grade 7, I was then in concert band because learning how to play saxophone for the first time. And the what did they end up? That I was also in the string orchestra program, and that had at that point had become deprecated, I guess is a good way to put it. They definitely people were not that interested in that program anymore, or there was still some interest, but the school district was not interested in funding it, so it largely came down to people having to fund it privately. And my parents were like, if we're gonna buy you a saxophone, continue to play violin is like not a thing that you like. We'd like you to pick one or the other, because especially playing saxophone in the school, you know, through grade 7 through grade 12. But if you're gonna play violin and if you're not enjoying it, then please just stop. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't want to be trucked out from one side of the city on a bus or in whatever every day to another side of the city. Though weirdly, for a while when they were doing that with us, it did mean that there was a girl at my school who played cello who was super cute that I had a huge crush on. And so it was just the two of us getting to ride together to the thing every day. This is an elementary school, so it's not like crushes are going to end up meaning much anyway. But it was fun for me. to be able to do that. A little nervous making for me as well, but God, that's a long time ago. And so we're looking for Quester's View is what we're looking for, and that I believe is on one side of the road. If there's anything over here that we haven't already kind of tackled. Oh yeah, that did not go anywhere. So yeah, I gave up doing that. Gave up playing. See, I gave up playing violin and then started playing saxophone from that point forward. And then when I got, and then when I was in like grade 8 or grade 9, my parents said, "Do you want to take private lessons?" I said yes, and started taking private lessons for a few years. And then at the same time, my sax teacher was like, "Hey, do you want to also take the chamber music program? I'm going to make a quartet of 4 young people, because I already have 4 of us older students, like a couple of his older students, and then also himself and another person. They're in like a chamber quartet. And he's like, I want to make one for younger people because I have 4 really good students. You're one of them. I'm like, really? That's nice to hear. Thank you. Thank you for saying that I'm actually good enough to be in your chamber quartet. And I was clearly the worst one of the chamber quartet. Oh, right. The Fisherman Shanty, which he is no longer living here again. And so, yeah, that, and so we beat on past the current. So then in grade 12, because my dad had bought an electric guitar, I decided that I wanted to learn to play electric guitar so that I would be, oh, we're going to have a fight. Let's have a scrap. Let's have a battle. Let's have a Donnybrook. Because my dad got an electric guitar, and I was like, you know what's great? Playing guitar is great because you can also learn to sing. And also, I'm led to believe that that's a way to be popular. And that's what I did, is I learned to play guitar so I could be popular. I'm completely fine with that, because have a reason to do it and put in the time, because the reason's important. I never became popular because I played guitar, as far as I'm concerned. It just became a really good skill to have. But I also took keyboard for a year. Instead of piano, I took keyboard. And that itself is like a weird thing where it's like, I went to a place for a year and learned how to strum on a keyboard. You learn how to plink on a keyboard, which taught me a lot about music theory as well. So I was like, that was also valuable. Cool. Let's see here. Right, the Bearby said, I'm just imagining Derek from QWRP in a bus trying to talk to this girl. No, I wouldn't imagine that if I were you, because Derek at least has accidental game. If I had game, she never let on that I did. At the most, I think she thought I was probably like a pleasant idiot. And sometimes it's, that's all you can hope for, right? But that's in grade 5 and grade 6. That's not going to be like, we're going to be together forever because of this. Now, there's no way that's going to be a thing. So, there's one thing that I would love to do in the future, should I have kids, is to definitely show them Disney movies, but disabuse them of the notion that it's like, a Disney movie is a romance, and it's meant to work out for the main characters. And while you are the main character of your own story, that's not how life works. You don't just get to decide that you're going to be Prince Charming, and therefore you have your pick of the princesses. That's not how any of this works. And if I have a girl, I'm going to have to do the same thing somehow and be like, Prince Charming might not ever come along, and you also don't get to decide who your Prince Charming is. You get to decide if you want to be with whoever it is that you want to be with. Don't ever mistake that. And don't let anyone ever tell you that you are their property or vice versa. Okay, I feel like I'm clicking on the same guys over and over. But there were 4 people, and I think I've only repaired 3 things. Okay, there's one past the tree here. This is one I haven't touched. Also, this girl knew that I liked her for a very long time anyway. She was not like, I was not shy about it, but it wasn't like, at that age, it's like you're not making life decisions for the rest of your life. And it wasn't like, oh, this boy likes me. Maybe we should be boyfriend and girlfriend in grade 6. That shit is not happening. I'm confident that she was not going to like me in that way anyway. So, oh, hey, have you seen my gold? Asked the man at the door. I'm afraid we haven't, said James. Aren't you Shanty the fisherman? He questioned. Yes, but I didn't mean to do it. Didn't mean to be Shanty the fisherman? He replied wildly. I was looking for my gold. I didn't know it was still alive. He shivered involuntarily. James looked at Gorath and continued playing along, though he wasn't sure what the man was talking about. But you did do it. Why don't you tell us about it? Shaking harder, Shanty said, it was a black thing. I dug and dug, and then it grabbed my arm, and I pulled away, but it wouldn't let go, and then it clawed its way out, and it talked to me. The demon thing spoke to me and thanked me for letting it go. He stopped, nearly in tears. It even gave me a reward. It gave me passwords for a couple of local fairy chests. Said they were eyes and ring. Unable to control his fear any longer, he retreated into his house, slamming the door. All right. Cool. Audible slam, yep. It's 10 o'clock. So we know there are fairy chests in the area. We found the eyes one. I can't remember if we found the ring one or not. We're looking for Quester's View. Is this it? It is not. It is just a house. And maybe beyond that house there's is Quester's View. But I think it's pretty close. So we're going to, again, it's 10 o'clock, lock down a save. And then we're going to have a 3-minute break for commercials. Have that bio break if you like to. Check your emails, because it is important to check emails because you might have a message from the store. Who knows? But in the meantime, sit tight. And we're back with the Play It Forward. I need to apologize as well, and it sucks that I have to apologize after the break. But I realized that when I was talking about, with my kids, I would say this, and I guess if I have, this kind of, if I have a boy, then X, and if I have a girl, then Y. Let me apologize before we go on about this. I did that very heteronormative thing because I was taking my life experience, which 40 years of when you don't even know that gay people exist, and so I'm sorry that I forgot. And nobody in the chat called me on it, which is really cool of you. But I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, right. If you're a little boy or a little girl and you want to date whomever, or if you even figured out if you're either, and Gil Knox, you're the only one who had mentioned, and you did it in such an offhand way, and it was so nice of you that you did it that way, that I was like, right, shit, I did that thing that hetero people do, where it's like, well, I would just tell my kids, you're the little prince and you get to marry a little princess, and it's like, that's such horse shit. I should have figured that. This is why Disney needs to do some films with little princesses that end up with other little princesses, and it's like, that should be a thing. And I loved the new She-Ra because I loved how it was like, this is this relationship between these two women, and it's really good. So yeah, I should have known better. I can't wait until we get the Owl House season 2 up here, because we don't have it yet. I don't even know if we have season 1 up here technically on Disney Plus. It's like wherever. I think it may be on Crave or something, but there's been a lot of delay for getting that. And then also Amphibia is we're still waiting on getting season 2 on Disney Plus up here. There's just something out about the frickin' when you live in Canada, your streaming platforms never keep up with the rest, because inevitably someone will have signed a deal already to take the thing for their own streaming platform. So we can never, when it's like this thing, like the new Lupin season, apparently is on Netflix now. If you've been watching the French Lupin series, which is actually pretty good, it's like, hey, the second season has finally arrived in US Netflix, and everyone's like, yeah, all right, I get to watch it. I'm like, yeah, awesome. And I go watch it. It's like, new episode's coming soon. And I'm like, what? Right. Canadian Netflix. Not everybody signs the deal at the same time and gets everything at the same time. And sometimes this thing is on Disney XD, which is technically available for streaming if you have Crave in Canada. Crave is a streaming service offered by Bell. It's like, if you have Crave, you can get this. But if you don't have Crave, it's not going to come to Disney Plus right away because we have exclusive streaming rights to it, because that's everything we signed before Disney Plus came out, is we get these rights for these things. And it's like, yeah, so yeah. All right. It is frustrating. Let's see here. James looked down at the mound of dirt. He bent down, examined it more closely, then stood, a disgusted look on his face. Now, we've clicked on these before, and it's just been like, oh, do you want to dig up the grave? But now we have a thing happening. Someone has clawed this grave open. They didn't use tools. It would appear they dug it open with their bare hands. Who are you quoting? They've never put quotes around this kind of stuff before. This is probably just box text before they said, oh, wait, we're going to make it like an event. A wild animal, perhaps. Hungry wolves have been known to dig at shallow graves if the scent is strong enough. No, I'm afraid not. There's some dried blood in the dirt, and I found several human fingernails, no doubt lost as someone dug frantically at the hard ground. Okay, so now we know that someone was buried in this grave. Same thing again. And Shanti was completely freaked out by this and gave us the password to 2 chests in the area. And I don't know where either of them are. This is his place again. I don't even know if we're going to find them or not. Oh, maybe we will. Is there a trap here? Yep. Let's grid. Excellent. So what do we know about this? It looks impossible. We might have already looted Eisen Ring. I feel like something has gone wrong. We can't pull boxes. I've never tried to. I shouldn't really just say that. But I'm pretty sure we can't pull a box towards us and that lets us out of the thing. Yeah, I'm not sure that'll actually work. Let's try it for 1 health. Yeah, you can't target it. That's good advice. Try standing closer to the sky. Can we run to escape the trap? Okay, let's think about this. I could make Gorath tank it, yes, but it's a trick. Get an axe. Like, tank the cannon is not bad. Oh, right. Owen has mirror wall. Will that actually work? That's 20 health. Let's use James because he's got lots of walking too. There's no way that's the how you're supposed to fix it if you don't have mirror wall, but precious gift this, yet it has no end or beginning, and in the middle nothing. That's a ring. I don't remember doing this one. And because I think we didn't. F it. Though easy to spot when allowed to plume, it is hard to see when held in a room. R S T A AMHEL M. Smoke? Yeah, smoke plumes, you're right. Smoke. Are you smoking yet? Let's polish that. Excellent. I mean, we are gonna... whatever, leave it. I don't care. Rygate and Supply. Have we been here before? Well, I think I need a new Armorer's Hammer. And I definitely don't need these. Just picking them up so we can sell them. How are we doing on whetstones? That one is nearly dead. How is this one? That is fine. Okay. Throw that away. Give you this almost broken whetstone. I mean, he's going to charge me 1 silver for it as well. That's not bad. I'll give you a royal for it, sure. I'll sell it for a royal to somebody else. Great. And James's haggling went up. That's so good. Oh, good. Yeah, we are going to need some rations. No, you'll give them to me for cheaper. A couple more than what we need, but it's fine. We'll burn through them in a hurry. Don't need to do anything bow-wise at this point. Yeah, straight up don't remember coming over to this place. I wonder why we did that, or how we did that. The assassin was a mercenary. James could tell by the heart and set of the Black Slayer's face that he hadn't hunted them down to avenge a wrong done him, hadn't chased them to collect a debt. He had come because the coin had been the right color and the right amount. For that price, win or lose, he would fight them to the death. Just one. So now, let's have a look here. Bane of the Black Slayers is... use on Black Slayers, it says. Why is that? Does 50 damage. Okay. Alright, well, 103% to hit. Alright. Carrying anything good? Doesn't seem to have. So Black Slayers, if I remember in this game properly, they will, when you kill them, they will come back to life during the fight. So that's a very particular Nighthawk thing, is that some of them become Black Slayers. Makes them stronger and makes them pretty much impossible to kill if you get attacked by a bunch of them. So what you end up doing is you have to use Final Rest in order to keep them from coming back. I've never actually cast Bane of the Black Slayers before. So that was fun to be able to do that, definitely. I think this must be... Is this Quester's View? Sure is. So go to Quester's View, it says, and talk to Grim at the tavern. All right, Bard. 63 sovereigns. Talk. Man didn't look happy. He don't talk much, call a voice from the other side of the tavern. He's a pretty somber fellow. Folks call him Grim because he never laughs or smiles. Another voice said, he's pretty much a fixture here at Babbin's. In fact, we often have a little fun with strangers. We'll give you 80 sovereigns if you can get Grim here to laugh. Care to give it a try? Yes. James nodded. Indeed, we would like to give it a try, he said, then turning whispered, let's see, how are we going to get this fellow to laugh? Spoon? Spoon. I've got it, said Owen. This is a little trick I used to amuse my father with. He squatted down in front of Grim, tipped back his head, and began to sing. As the words to the silly song tumbled from his mouth, he carefully balanced the spoon across the bridge of his nose. Grim frowned. I'd love to see if there is a talk through about what to do for this joke quest, but I'm pretty sure it looks like it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Let's try a body joke. I'll try, said Gorath. He knows body jokes. He turned to Grim and with a sly smile began a body tale, detailing a romantic tryst between a dwarf and an elf maiden. Glancing around the room with a mischievous smile, Gorath reached the punchline. It just ain't gonna work, said the dwarf. Well, with me down here and you up there. The end of the story brought stifled snorts and snickers from around the room, but Grim simply nodded. All right. Ship? Who are we gonna ship? James stepped forward. This little tale should knock him out of his chair. It was related to me by a Tirani soldier. Seems one of their sailing ships was caught in a fierce storm that damaged the vessel so badly it began to take on water. There were rafts on board, and most of the men got off safely, but it quickly became apparent to the captain that there were only 3 spots left, and 4 of them were still in the ship. I'm going to ask each of you a question, he said. Answer correctly, and you can join your mates on the raft. Turning to the first man, he asked, the firestorm sunk off what peninsula? The Honshoni Peninsula, sir. The captain nodded and pushed the sailor towards the raft. Then he turned to the second man. How many were aboard that night? Deep in thought, the second sailor finally blurted, 154! Again, the captain nodded, pushing the sailor towards the raft. Finally, with one eye on the rising water, he turned to the third man. What were their names? It's so good. The joke over, James looked at Grim expectantly as loud guffaws filled the room and men doubled over and slapped their knees and lost ale through their noses. Grim yawned. It's a good little joke. All right. No. The man's a rock, complained James. I'm afraid we just can't do it. Love affair with a married woman. Barmaid. This dude. Love affair with a married woman. Inn. Yeah, I'll stay for the night. Why not? We'll heal Owen completely. And let's get out of here. So now Owen has 13, 11, 11. Which means if he does this, we'll have 12, 12, 11, which is a little nicer. No one about. Greeted warmly. Bell rang. Ah, Pierce Perry's weapons. We've been here before. Right, this is where we had our broken crossbow. You have Eulaliko armor. You'll probably like this then. It's such a huge drop. Take it. You probably want this crossbow? I'll maybe take that. We're gonna go to Lamut actually here in a second, so maybe I'll just take it to Lamut with me. Anything else cool here? Should have bought the nicer hammer. That Griefmaker is gonna go into a into a somewhere else. Richards asks, how much money do you have compared with how much a standard run would have? Well, for one thing, at this point, if I had a few hundred sovereigns, I would probably be doing okay. The ability to bard every chapter at every inn would be a great way to make money, but getting around fast enough to be able to do it means you're also running afoul of other people. But if you're willing to put in the time and take stuff and dropping and like being like, oh, I've killed a whole bunch of people and now I have all of their armor and shit, I'm gonna run it to a town and sell it, and you do that constantly, then you can actually make enough money to be comfortable on the road. There's a good chance that just doing that might not be enough. Like, but I don't know for sure. So doing some of the other things that are built into this game have been great at, as we've seen with some of the other stuff that has happened, it's been a really good way to screw up the whole works with just being like, well, I can go talk to Spitzer and gamble, and then I can go bard, and I go talk to Spitzer and gamble again, and if I lose, then I go bard, and if I win, I just keep that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, just keep doing that until everything gets all messed up. So let's see here. So we need to go to Lamut Inn. Is it faster to go to the Temple of Sung, which is down here, and to go south so it can warp us north and then go up to Lamut? Or is it faster to just walk up? It's probably faster to go up because Temple of Sung is down here, and by the time we do all that, we still have to do the rest of the traveling. So we might as well just go north from here. Now, been to Questor's View. We can do this. And yeah, we might run into a battle or something. Hopefully we won't. Yep, let's go north. Now we're near Zune. Because we haven't been here in a while, we're probably going to run afoul of some other dudes to attack. Geeks Herbs. Herbs. All those restoratives I sold. I might just use this oilcloth on our armor. Let's see here. What does it say? A dark sheen appeared as Owen applied the holy oilcloth, rubbing the metal until its surface drank up some of the residue. While its effects could be countered if his opponent had used the same oil, it at least ensured he would be on even footing with anyone hostile that he met. And I don't actually know what benefits it gives you when you fight somebody who doesn't have this. Oh yeah, Johnny Glitch. The PIF that I'm doing is 8 till 11, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Pacific, and it's just kind of turned into 8 until midnight. So yeah. Given the price of some of these things, like the Killian's Root Oil and like other things like that, where it's like, well, would I want to have that on me? And there's that sense, well, yeah, maybe you would want to have that on you. It's not entirely like it's not out of turn to think that you might be able to buy it later in the later in the game as you're doing things. Okay. Thought there was a tavern here. Drunk wasn't going to face them down in a fair fight. James, you weren't even here when we got in that fight. You're touching a tender spot on your head. You weren't even here. All right. Tavern. Well, we're going to bard because we're here. Oh, right. No, this is the Green Cat where you get a menu, and that's it. 10, 11, 11. I'm going to teach you to haggle. This is a little frustrating. Okay. Haven't lost yet. H will haggle, so that's what we will do. Yeah, really straight up won't give them to me after that, will they? You're getting better, though, I'm sure. I guess not that much better. Are you just All right, so the whole party, what we know now is that the whole party's haggling goes up. Can you literally not haggle this guy into dropping his prices? Maybe you can't. Maybe this guy's unhaggleable. Let's try Owen. Yeah. Owen's at 100%. He should be able to get something on this, but if he can't, I don't think there's actually any haggling with this guy. $12, $14, $13. 13, 13, 13. And away we go. The nice thing is that any chest that's available at the start of the game is, like, any chest that's available in the game is available, like, I believe, immediately in the game. You don't have to spend time looking around for, like, oh, maybe they added new chests at this point, right? It's not like in Breath of the Wild where it's like, oh, this chest that I can detect is actually not here or whatever. You know, I'll have to break the game map to take care of it. I think we're good to go. I don't know how we keep... Oh, because we haven't put our weed walkers back on. We left them in the other place. Owen, to spare thy eyes. Meanwhile, Gorath's just gonna one-shot some fools. That's good. Oh, no, that... I can't allow that to stand. You're the ones who wanted to attack us. There's no way. Oh, well, this guy has to come back. Maybe we can despair thy eyes? There we go. Five dudes. 49%. 73%. Not that. Just that. It is pretty meditative. Oh, you barely used your sword. But you used it once, and that's all that matters. Owen's going to go back to his dad, and his dad's going to be like, so, what have you been doing for the last year? And he's like, oh, I've been apprenticing as a blacksmith. You what? I've been learning some very valuable skills. Watch. And then takes his dad's like ancient armor and like hits it 3 times with a hammer and it just shines. It's like, oh, I see. My son's a witch. No, I'm a wizard, Dad. You've been trying to train me to be a guy. I wanted to be a wizard. This whole goddamn time. Oh, medium crossbows. All right. We probably... I can drop that. I can take the better whetstone. Gorath's got a good whetstone too, but yeah. How's Gorath looking here? Repairable armor? Okay. Because he got hit, he lost his little doodly-doo. And that's the Mac, which we're not going to yet. Trying to get to Lamut, which is on that road, I believe. And here's where we come to make arrows, which we have never used all of them up yet. Yeah, good old Lamut. When we played this game, and this is like one of the first like real like pretty, because Yavin is one place, but when you start the game, this is the first city you come to where it's like, oh, this is really cool. And it's weird and different, and I like that they put you in this space where you start in an area where it's like, I don't know what it is I'm doing here, but it's odd, but it's telling me how odd it is too, and I'm like, ah, it's kind of cool that... So Fletcher's Post is a buy-sell. And it's where we, a 1% ruby lives here. If we ever need it, we can come to Lamut and get it. They will carry books for us, so that's nice. We might sell our Psalms of Dala at this point, because I think we already have one. This was where Eyes of Ishep. Okay, cool. They just kind of carry a lot of different things. So we're going to get rid of Psalms of Dala, because we already read it, the 3 of us. And I know we have another book for it somewhere else, and I'd rather just have the room back in our inventory for that. And I'm going to sell this. Great. and the Grief Maker we hold on to for the time being, and the loot we hold on to until we can find a chest we can put those things in, so that we can train other people in the magical arts of barding, which we don't really need to do at this point. I have 4 people, I think, that are all 100% bards, which I believe means we're always going to have at least one person in the party who can bard, and we don't have to go that hard to bard. So, we don't need anything else from here. Bard. 63 sovereigns. Thank you, Sumani. Talk to this guy.
Ach, what is it now?
See? We get to meet all these people again. You think quite a bit of yourself, don't you, lad? Perhaps. What makes you think so? Most folk enter a room, they look to the left, to the right, check out the lay of the place, and then they choose where to go. When you come a-prancing in, you walk straight in as an arrow, as if nothing could stand in your way. No one does that that's not stupid or very good with a knife. I'm not stupid. Didn't think you were, but I'd wager a month's salary that you've done some time as a thief. I suggest you lay a hefty amount on the wager. You'd win. But all that was a long time ago. I'm in the service of the prince now. Are you now? It's a shame almost. There's a new section of the Macmordain Canal that's just been reopened by the workers. There was a terrible collapse there not too long ago, you know, and they say that there's a chamber there just heaped up with treasure. Why tell me why not get the treasure yourself? That would be stealing from myself. It's dwarven treasure after all. Besides, I wouldn't have the desire to try. If you're no thief, I've nothing to worry about, I'm telling you. And if you are, again, I've nothing to worry about. We don't exactly leave treasure just laying about unless it's for good reason. And what reason would that be? Let's just say that there are certain things in this world that you either are or are not supposed to have. If you were meant to touch something, you will. If not, well then, fate sorts that sort of thing out. I believe you're right about that, Double. A lesson I've learned the hard way. Let's talk to Sumani. Sumani's responded promptly. Shuffling closer to James, he pitched his voice so as not to disturb others who are drinking his tavern.
Honors to your houses.
Your will, Lord? Minute of your time, Keeper, if you've one to spare. All the hours of the day, if need be, Honorable Sire. How may I be of service? Armor repair? Can we get anywhere with that? I wonder. Don't know how much longer armor's going to last. Andy, we can get it repaired. Kingdom armor's different. Sumani himself? Why'd you come to Mikimia? Alright, Makala. Because we met him, we returned that ruby. We met at Sirani and Krondor named Makala. Do you know anything about him? He is a great one of the assembly magicians. Beyond that, I know little, as the great ones do not communicate with the lesser folk. Lesser folk? Those who are not of the assembly are those who are not lords or ladies of the Sirani Empire. It would be improper that a person such as I should speak to one of his rank unless he asked a question of me. This is the way of my former people. It's an interesting way to put that. Roads. Suspect the graveyard outside of Lamut will fill it faster than the gravedigger can dig holes if the roads become any more treacherous. It is truer than you might imagine. The roads at night are patrolled now by the Lamutian Guard. And he found out after dark will be slain on sight. No exceptions? Well, told me that he managed to haggle, is that the word? Past one of the guards? But then again, he is especially gifted with words. I myself would not wish to rely upon such a skill. Haggling, you say? I've always found myself on the short end of the stick when it comes to when I've tried my hand at haggling. Asked me to charm the dress of a peasant girl, no problem. But when it comes to convincing a merchant to undersell something to me, I'm less than expert. You're not born knowing how to walk, but you seem to have no difficulty putting one foot in front of another. Anything may be learned so long as you truly wish to learn it. So who would I speak about learning to haggle? Double? Double is Double. His talent is a part of him, and I doubt he understands his own abilities. There is one who lives in Romney, however. Oh, we're going to Romney, who I think may be of help, is known as Mitchell Waylander. He was of help. He taught us to haggle, and is the head of a very powerful guild, the Glazers Guild. We have one of his fake stamps. Had a very long conversation with him when he wished to buy a few of our Tsirani pots. I think he could teach you something about haggling. He did. Joke? Goodbye.
Ach, what is it now?
Alright, so Double doesn't want to talk to us again, and Sumani
Honors to your houses.
If you visit the Quester's View Tavern, talk to Grim and try to make him laugh. In order to do so, you must go to the Lamut Inn, talk to Dougal, and then to Sumani, who will teach you a joke. Sumani's joke will make Grim laugh, and you will be rewarded with 80 gold sovereigns. I mean, that's none of my business. You can ask about everything again and see if it triggers something. Permanent Rift Gate to Kellowan is located near here. So we asked about Sumani already. We asked about all these things. Any ideas, anybody? Because none of the other clickables are clickable. Do I have to stay here for a night? I could do that.
Honors to your houses.
No. Well, Sumani is the innkeeper, technically, and there is nobody else here to talk to. This is the freebooters thing. Here's the barmaid. We have 12, 12, and 12. I could get a 7-pack, which would get us over the top. Talk to the dwarf about Sumani, and then talk to the innkeeper about the jokes.
Ach, what is it now?
He doesn't want to talk. We've already barded.
Honors to your houses.
Sumani's got nothing else. Let's leave. Go to the garrison. The garrison was impressive. We've read this before. Guards hurried towards the courtyard. A red-eyed soldier met them at the central keep's door, his wolf's head tabard stained red with streaks of blood and his arm wound in bandages. Scratching his stubble chin, he asked them what they wanted. What in tits hell's happened to you, James said, looking the soldier over. It looks like you were caught in a terrible fight. Mordor, the man croaked. Whole clutch of their moss troopers were operating near here, and we found them out. We had to impose martial law until we're sure we've routed them. Lemutian soldiers strung from here all the way to Hawks Hollow in the south and east, all the way to Tirsag. Have any idea what they were up to, James asked. None, the man replied, though they all seem fairly upset about something going on to the south. I'm not exactly sure what. James nodded and turned to go, but the guard reached through the gate and snagged his sleeve. Don't be out on the roads at night if you can at all help it. Our guards have orders to kill on sight anyone trying to pass through our checkpoints. I mean, yep, that's good. Good to know. I'm going to leave. And then we're going to just walk backwards to the inn. Talk to Dougal.
Ach, what is it now?
Nope. Sumani.
Honors to your houses.
No joke. Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe the joke quest is broken until later. I don't know. And we have all day to walk to the Macmordian Cadal. All right, there's a box here. No. All right, let's put a bookmark down. Maybe after going into the Mac, that will be fine. Let's investigate. Cool. So now, if we, as they say, if you re-enter the Mac, you can go to the lower level. There's some gems and stuff, and there's a quest down there. So we're going to do that. The trick is I need to figure out how to get to the how to get there in a hurry. Let's look at the map web. Upper level. Cool. All right. To get to the lower level, we start in this one spot. We're going to talk to Natter here in a second. Boom. The Sparks thing. Here's a short tree stump of a man.
Bah! I thought I had a black noodle.
I hope you've not come for a passage through to Elvander. We've gained some ground and cleared out a new section about 3 miles or so, but we've a long way to go. After the Brock Nur collapsed the passages, we've been a wee bit busy. Any idea how long a delay we should expect? Even with 100 dwarves flaying rock until they bash their bairns in, it'll take some while. The rock's festooned like a cheese rind, and we have to take it slow, else a lot of it'll come down on our heads, and the all of it gone to waste. We may get some help, though. We've been tapping messages back and forth through the rock, and our cousins on the other side say that Aglarana of the elves may be able to lend a hand. Hey, tell me about Sarth. I'm surprised we haven't seen many cases of Queegan fever up this way. They're having problems with it down at the Abbey of Ishep at Sarth. Ugh, if you're gonna talk about Borkalan, call it by its name, alright? It's not by that Kishian bark. Sarth was dwarven? Not the abbey itself, no, but the caverns beneath. It was the greatest emerald mine the dwarves ever delved, the Mac Borkalan Dock. It ran for miles in every direction, and part of the chambers ran right beneath where the abbey now stands, though I understand those silly priests have stuffed the tunnels to the rafters with books. We'd still own the caverns now, but we made an arrangement with Magikar Blackpatch when he moved into the keep that had been built over one of the entrances, and Magikar still owns the mine. Aye, if corpses can be said to own anything, he's been dead a long while, even as dwarves reckon time. The mine's are the property now of the Brothers of Ishap, though I doubt they know how to get from their vaults to the main passages of the mine. Don't tell me about it, I guess. Swords? I'll teach you a trick to sharpening your swords. I'm gonna say no. Because we're going to turn on weaponcraft for everybody real quick. The weaponcraft just went up, I guess because we'd been working on it. And turn those off. Walk forward, and then turn around and walk backwards. There we go. I have a section to clear through before the day's end, and I cannot be bothered with constant. What can I do for you? Swords? Hi, yes, I'll pay you 50 swavrons. Repair my swords. Watch what I'm doing carefully. I don't want to be repeat myself more often than necessary. First off, you'll want to have a whetstone handy. Without it, my trick will be as useless as knees on a fish. The most important thing to keep in mind is the angle at which you draw the blade across the stone. It's like this. It's interesting. You sharpen the blade so the metal's edge has contrary planes. Opposite sides, opposite directions in the grain. Should make for an interesting cut. It'll make for a cut your opponent will quick forget. The weapon crafting lesson's over, lad. We got both more important things to get to. And now that is now gone. Armor repair? No. The hermit near Hawks Hollow, who can repair stuff. We now know about that. Nothing else we really need to know here. How did we do? Weaponcraft went up. Let's have a look. 76. 40. That was like a 15% jump. 94. Hell yeah. Definitely worth it. Okay, so we get to the we're gonna get to the what we want to do is proceed straight through the four-way, which we are doing. It will turn, which it did. It will turn again. Now, this way is a fight, or was a fight previously. It is not a fight anymore, so that's fine. Proceed this way, it'll turn to the left. Then it'll turn to the right. Then it'll lead all the way to a door? Oh, to a locked chest. I have no idea if you've even opened this one before. And we'll train Owen's lockpick, because why not? He'll get it in like one, but... We should... You know what we should do? He said, why not train Gorath's lockpick? Because that's why. No need. He's already has the bare minimum to open up peasant locks. So I take a few steps forward. I turn this way. Just look around behind me. There's nothing behind me. There might have been a fight there before, but not right now. We go up north to a chest. It's got nothing in it. We turn to the west. Walk through a wide hallway and enter a large room with a locked chest and a body in it. Body to the side. Got nothing on him. And a locked chest. You'll be fine. Just give it a try. It's funny because I know that the locks are meant to give you a sense of how hard it is to open a chest. But also, apparently they just set the... It's not like this style of lock has a minimum whatever. It's like, no. The chest itself has a minimum whatever, and we'll just use this as a means of depicting it, is how I feel about it anyway. Oh, I still had Owen selected. Okay, well, that's fine. We got another one to do here. Let's just ensure he's being trained. He is. Yeah, when the Maricat's pointing out the credits for the game for Betrayal at Krondor, that there were a lot of people involved with acting, and for the most part, a lot of that is going to be like you have your VAs, obviously, but I feel like actor wise, they probably went to like local troupe and was like, hey, you guys have a lot of costumes and stuff, or we have money that we can invest in paying to get some costumes made, but not that much money. So we need you to dress up and do this stuff, and we will film you doing specific things in specific rooms, and then we will convert that into animated pictures and stuff. Like a lot of the animations, yeah, there's going to be it probably is just a lot of captures of, I need you to stand like this, and then I need you to walk from this location to this location. Yes, we're filming you now. Walk back towards me now. Walk this way. And it's like, great, well, we'll take 3 frames of that. Though, yeah, I like, as Juliemon says, only one of those names looks like my spouse wrote me into this. This would be a lot of fun if us as a local theater troupe, as a sketch troupe, were asked, hey, can you guys do X for us? It's like, yeah, we could totally do that. Give us a budget. It's we're gonna like pay us to be in it, but also give us a clothing budget, and we'll go out and get everything you need, and but also we're busy, so we probably couldn't do that these days. So it is Johnny Glitch. It's very possible that the art people just drew the beard and everything on people. I think it would be very jarring for me if they remade this game in 1080p and then we're like, well, we need to have a way to represent everybody. It's like, okay, well, we're going to do it through like photorealistic representations of what they should look like at 1080p. And I'd be like, oh, Jesus, it's going to be like looking at Megamind, isn't it? It's going to be just like everything's really perfect and on, and it just feels a little off. I mean, it'd be different if it was like everything's going to look like Advent Children and be like, oh, that's going to be weird too. I don't know if I can take that. It's like you need to pixelate these faces so you can't identify who everybody is. How are we doing here? 44 is pretty good. What's Owen at again? 77 and 91. So let's see if Owen can actually crack this thing. Okay. So that was the body, and the chest, and there's no fighting, and the room is been explored, and in chapter 1 we would have been stopped. In chapter 2, well, inquired Gorath, shall we? Yes, we shall. They descended noisily. Several times Owen nearly lost his footing in the mossy steps, but fortunately caught himself before sending them all tumbling down the dwarven stairwell. At last they emerged into a large corridor. And now begins the second half of this walking around stuff. So in the lower level, are we going to meet people? We're not going to meet them yet. So, oh, pretty straightforward. Cool. So currently, we're in the top of the map. I think it said we can only go half of the distance so far anyway. There's a few fights, but we're probably fine. Told me that this doesn't go anywhere, so I'm just going to go up it first to see that it doesn't go anywhere, which it does. And then we're going to go this way. There's a door. Can Owen do it? Owen can do it. That was really funny. Great. That's good. That's good. Dude, you need to be back on the improving cycle. Ah, more Guizois. Only a couple, then that's not so bad. All right, Owen gets the kill. How are we looking for space? We're pretty easy on space. Goblin sticker's pretty nice. Normal ass rations. Share with party. Yeah, that'll do. Let us turn on the armor crafting and the weapon crafting. Don't need that. Cool. And everyone else's stuff is still good. Maybe I'll keep that and sell it. No. Okay, so that's good. We're not going to have to do those things for a bit, so we'll put everybody back to the way they were. Big room. Box. Safe. Whoa. Neat looking lock. Haven't seen that before. What do you think, Gorath? Think you can get it open? He does say it's along beyond his ability. He's probably going to break a lot of pick locks on this. It's 11 o'clock. Okay, so because now we're into training pick locks and shit. Will this open? Aha. Gorath turned the key slowly. Feeling some resistance, he applied a bit more pressure, praying he had the right key and the mechanism inside wasn't hopelessly jammed. Damned! Gorath spat. It broke. We'll have to try another key or try to pick it. So, yeah. Broke that key. Gilda's Thorn? Percha key? Alright. What about... I don't know if I want to risk this one. Key of Lineages? I mean, yeah. Anyway. Let's take a break. 3 minutes. We're going to go long tonight. Long, it's what we've been doing this entire time. And I'll see you in a few minutes. And we're back. Play It Forward continues. More time. I should have told Heather while she was here, which you don't get to hear if you're watching this in the VOD on YouTube, that she should have just been doing this. It's like, do this until it says 5. But anyway. I assumed Beej is more of a gelatin man, Tassin's Vigil says. I mean, Jello's nice. When I was a lot younger, Jello was like the way to go. It was like, man, Jello is because it's like, tastes like orange or lime or cherry. Like, Jello can taste like all sorts of things. So you know, that's just kind of a, you know, man, it tastes like all these other things, all the things you can get Slurpee flavors in, right? And yet, like, pudding wise, it's like there is one good pudding. It is called chocolate, because butterscotch was fine. I never really liked vanilla. And then like things like rice pudding and tapioca pudding, like all those other things, I'm like, I can't there's things in it I can't deal with. Like, and the idea of rice pudding is like, because it's usually vanilla anyway, but it's like pudding that involves a thing that you eat for your meal. The brain didn't like that. It's like pudding is supposed to be separate. It's supposed to be a thing, right? It's like you're not supposed to. And so, yeah, I never really felt like. Oh, even Owen can't open it. But James can. Aha, the small fortune. That's a hell of a diamond. Oh, these are worth some money. Whew. But yeah, so naturally was like, it's like chocolate pudding is the thing. And I don't know what the, like, these days, like, as I got older, something happened where I was like, Jello's not really my jam anymore. Like, I like lime flavor. Like, I like lime pop, God, the lime rickeys you used to be able to get from the pop shop were great. That's a very Canada thing. Probably even just Western Canada thing. But like lime soda, like crushed lime soda, is something that is not easy to get, but my mom really likes it. Turns out I really like it. I had no idea we both like this thing together, but we both really like it. I would rather put lime juice in my drinks than lemons, but when you go to a restaurant and you ask for limes on the side, sometimes you don't really get them, so you get lemons instead because it's just easier to get water with lemon. It's like that's straightforward. But yeah, like this is a lot of money, and I have no idea if I should. I mean, I might as well take them, right? They're in the game for me to take, so this is a shell. It's 100%. It's a beautiful shell. It's probably worth like a couple dozen sovereigns, I'm sure. But yeah, but now pudding, like, and I appreciate, I appreciate even just in snack pack puddings, like vanilla pudding. I understand and get now. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. His lockpick ability has increased. I should hope so. We were training it for a while. There we go. So, and yeah, less Jello now as my thing to like. There are some bodies. And maybe I'd like Jello better, like if I guess if I tried it again, but I'm not in a hurry to just go make some Jello to try it again at this point. But like I didn't think I'd like tapioca ever, and then I had bubble tea and was like, oh wait, okay, I kind of get this fun chewy thing you can have. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of on board. There should be a fight in here somewhere. I don't know if I saw something move or if I just saw floaters. Probably floaters from my eyes. All right, well, let's go up and see what's up here. We need rest. Okay. Straight down the hallway is a nothing. So up here is, bet it's a something. Big room. Oh, big room with big pillars. I... Okay, just for the sake of safety. It says there's supposed to be a combat in this room, and I'm not seeing it. But anyway. All right, nothing up here. Maybe it's later chapters that have them. I mean, it says chapter 2 is supposed to have all those fights, but make a right turn. There's supposed to be a fight down here. I see a cairn. We're gonna go straight down the hallway because it's supposed to end at end to end, and I just want to get that over with. We have mapped that. here is the... A kobold climbed, grunting from the pit. Gorath put a hand on his sword, but the creature seemed unarmed, so after a moment he relaxed his grip. In Broken Kingdom tongue, the kobold began to speak to them of Ruarg, the dragon who had once inhabited the mines. Convinced the dwarves were somehow responsible for the dragon's disappearance, they decided to bribe King Dolgan into freeing it. Bring us armor, grey tower plate, croaked the kobold. Without another word, the creature slipped back into the darkness of the pit. All right. Now, am I supposed to cross the pit? Let's just have a look here. The kobolds will want you to bring a suit of grey tower plate. You may have an extra one to spare, but if you don't and you want to solve this quest, you'll have to go buy one or better find one. If you now talk to Nadir, he'll lead you towards Tirsog, so we should go back to Nadir. We have to leave here. And I believe I need to go this way. So it sounds like Nadir will tell me where to find one. Let me just roll back up so I can see where I'm going. I want to go all the way east. Yep. Feel like climbing all the way back up? Yes. Owen nearly broke his neck, less foot sheer than Gorath and further encumbered by his bulky staff. It was a constant struggle for him to keep upright as they wound up the mossy steps of the dwarven mine. When they reached level ground, once again he resisted the urge to drop and kiss the dirt. Dirt. And now to leave here. Sorry, I need to find the upper level map. We go like this. We blow through this room. We turn that way. And then we have to head south when we're given a choice to turn at the chest, which we did. We head down till we hit another chest, which we did. And we turn left. And we stay on the main road all the way until morning. I believe this should take us to Nadir. There he is. All right, same thing again. Armor! Any idea where we lay our hands in a suit of grey tower plate mail? Ah, blast, I'll have those buggers for dinner if they keep this up. You've been talking to those bloody kobolds, haven't you? What did they tell you they want the armor plate mail for? A treasure for Ruarg? A ransom for a lost kobold princess? They're having you on at our expense. And at our expense, you cannot get grey tower plate this side of the Kadal. How silly of me. I suppose the dwarves have sworn off wearing armor? Ah, daftest drovers, all you kingdom folk. We dwarves no more live in these mines than your King Liam lives in the ocean, despite the fact he rules the kingdom from an island. Ah, right, okay. The great majority of our kin live in villages much the same as yours, the only difference being that most of our villages are on the western side of the Grey Towers. There's not much call for a dwarven suit of armor this side of Lamut, and we found one in Sarth. There's absolutely no way we could find a dwarven suit of armor. I didn't exactly say that, now did I? You might go and look at one of the old battlefields. Sometimes bits of the old wars turn up there. Battle sites? Owen, how would you like to see a dwarven battleground? I know I would, and I'm sure Nadir's just going to burst if he doesn't tell us how to find one, right, Nadir? If it's one thing a dwarf never forgets, it's ground where kin have spilt their lifeblood. I can tell you where to find a battleground. Tir Bloody Sog. It's where last your kin and mine crossed swords against one another, and that was a fearsome battle, what would make the battle for Sethanon look like a day at the fair. If you truly a mind to this, try the west bank of the river right before crossing towards Tir Sog. That's where you'll have your best luck. Pits? We were trying to find our way around below, and we ran across a pit we couldn't even see the bottom of. Is there some way of getting around it? The only way around it is over it. You'll need a length of rope before you can get over the sink shafts. I'd lend you a length of ours, but you'll pardon the jest. They're all tied up at the moment. Ah, that's the joke. Thanks, Nadir. We should leave. Okay. Slam down a bookmark. And we need rest. Sleep until in. And actually, how is everybody doing? healthy enough. So now the thing is, we're going to go north past Yabin to Tirsog. Not a long walk. Just a bit of walking. Not a lot of walking, just a bit of walking. And if I'm lucky, enough walking that we can avoid some of the more... Oh, hi guys. What, these guys over here? Should we fight? They weren't surprised. You will be a problem I don't want to deal with. I was hoping I could take him out and send Gorath up to the other dude. Oh, that's not good, my dude. I know you're hopelessly outmatched, but you need to just, like, rein that shit in a bit. Good. Yeah, punish the runner. That's a good job. Why is it Owen is landing more shots than... Oh, it doesn't matter. Everybody has enough space. You're going to hold that. You're going to hold that. And then we're going to make you do things. Doing things. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, how nice would it be if one of these guys just happened to be wearing Grey Tower plate? That would save me a lot of time. Good. Good. Hell yeah, Tith's piss. Let's take care of these while we're at it. Everything's fine. Redweed Brew, commonly known as Tith's Piss among mercenaries. It makes your sword play better, so your accuracy melee goes up. Which maybe is just, I ought to be drinking that all the time. Whenever we're going to get into a fight, I should just have James drink some for the sake of being able to actually hit people. Good. Weaponcraft 78, that's pretty good. Armorcraft 87, that's pretty good. We're almost at Yabin. And if I remember correctly, there's a place in Yabin that buys and sells swords. And I don't think he has a goblin sticker yet. What for that? 122 sovereigns and 8 royals. What's my hammer look like? We're fine for now. Whetstone's fine. Gorath's got his own whetstone as well. I think we're going to be okay. This is my aunt's house. Definitely don't go there then. She might be wondering why you're doing this again. Like, it's been months. Have you been just in the whole area the whole time? It's like, no. Sure. Gorath can probably do it in one now. What? We've done this before. I mean, I could sit here and train him all day, but yeah. No. Wait, what was the thing? Go away. I need to get some sleep. Right. It was the dude who was like, this guy closed his whatever, and now I can't get my whatever. Take the armor, and so we did. How close are we to Tirsog? Oh, halfway there. Is that Brother Jeremy's house? No. All right. Here's a dead guy. We happened on him before last chapter. Okay. So now they say that you should be able to see one if your scouting is above a certain level. And I believe we're good for scouting. Oh, here's a house. 300 pounds of madman opened the door. Mm-hmm. The greasy-looking farmer said to himself, sizing up James in a single glance. Should have known that some kind of stranger had to be responsible. For what? James prompted. Don't play stupid. Been keeping me up for the last 10 nights with those rackets to the west. James shook his head. Afraid there's been a mistake. Really, we'll be leaving you alone now. Fireworks, was it? Explosives factory? I can't remember what the hell that they were doing. Anyway, before we cross that, we're supposed to walk around a bit. Just west of the river, or west of the bridge at Tirsog. There we go. The shiny stone caught Gorath's eyes. Upon a closer inspection, he realized the stone wasn't actually stone at all. He found a piece of metal poking up through the packed dirt. He bent down to take a closer look, tried to brush away the years of dust and dirt, and the rocks had swallowed it, and now refused to let it go. Digging with the edge of the sword, we have a shovel, dude. Sword to free it from its earthen tomb, he found the item was bigger than he originally suspected, but at least it was free. He had found an ancient suit of dwarven armor known as Grey Tower Plate. Said Gorath found it, but... Alright, hang on to your dicks. We're about to repair that plate. It's in perfect condition! Well, fair enough. Let's see here. So that was the guy who was pissed off. Is this Brother Jeremy's place? Maybe it is. No, no one's about. Okay, so... there was something going on and another opportunity to interact with it, I have probably lost that opportunity. Oh wait, no. This is the place. The building creaked in a way that made James nervous. You stay out here, he told Owen. Something doesn't feel right about this place. I'm going to have a look around. He turned a minute later. He had a grim look on his face. What did you find? There was an open chest lying on an empty work table. It looked as though it had been rigged with a system of tripwires and flints. The contents were no doubt explosive. Someone's been up to no good, and we best leave before they get back. I do like that as that it's like, here is a thing to tell you that stuff gets trapped. Ah, this is the spider one. I think we've opened the spider chest before. Spidey. We have. And we're already at Yabin, so that's good. We're gonna have to sleep. We're gonna work our way south, past Lamut. I think this is Lamut. I think we're good on. I think we're good on rations still. 9, 10, 10. That should be lots. And I'm probably going to go to Hawks Hollow and sell all these jewels, since I believe they're the best place in the game to sell the jewels right now. Do we have space in our inventories? We have some space in our inventories. We'll be okay. And then Nader is back. Got nothing to tell you. Goodbye. Armor repair? No. No, he can't do any of that. All right. It's funny because I could repair the armor if I put it on and got into a fight and got hit once. Then I could actually repair it up to like 98%. So we're going to turn left, which we've done. We're going to walk all the way through here until we can't. We're going to do that. Do that. We're going to run right into a chest. Heading west. Should be a chest coming up. There it is. And we're going to turn north. We're going to run until we run into another chest. There it is. Going to turn south. Or west, because then we have to turn south. We have been turned south. And we boogie all the way through here. We turn that way and we go downstairs. Well, shall we? And then I change to the other map so I can see what I'm doing. You only need that much of the map. Forward, turn left, turn right. Go straight on until it auto turns us right. Then auto turns us left. Go straight through until there is a space. We pass the stones. It's along this wall. Past the stones. Right there. Go south. Auto turns us to the right. There's a pit. The kobold climbed, grunting from the pit. We would have Grey Tower plate, croaked the kobold. Have you of what we speak? James considered the question for a moment, unsure how to answer. Yes? James nodded. Yes, we do, he said slowly. What would we profit of letting you have it? The kobold considered this for a moment, then turned to the pit and made some signaling noises with his hands, while shouting instructions in language James didn't understand. After close to an hour, a strange-looking metallic goblet was brought to the surface by several young kobolds, who held it reverently as possessed incredible value. James placed the Grey Tower plate on the floor of the mine near the pit and stepped back so it could be inspected. Apparently satisfied with their 20% offer, the kobolds motioned them forward that they might sip from the goblet. Owen was first. He let the cool liquid trickle into his mouth from the cup. Almost immediately, he felt a new sense of strength and vitality. It began in his mouth and chest, then radiated away from these areas like ripples on a still pond. Didn't think that said ripples to begin with. The kobolds gave a sip to everyone, then climbed back into the darkness of a pit. Of the pit. And I believe that's actually as far as you can get in Chapter 2. There's further you can get in Chapter 3, according to the web page, but it seems like it's blocked off at one point. And so what has happened to us is some new vitality. We gained 5 points of maximum health and 5 points of maximum stamina for every character. So, given that we were talking about how long it would take us to just sit in High Castle and spam that through rations, yeah, I think we did pretty good. Overall, not a bad quest to be on. Now we will see if we can go back and finish the joke quest. We need to have a rest. And I don't mind walking in the dark. Because I'm pretty sure I know where I am. It's funny because like in this game there isn't a I think it's just auto back to here. That's good. There doesn't seem to be like you found a thing and then you drink the potion and it gives you a permanent +1 boost. You know, it's never that, right? It's always like it. Those are really cool, but then I always end up holding on to them because I'm like, I never know if I should drink it now to have the +1 boost to like one of my characters, or because I've played some games where it's like you give that +1 boost to a character who's low and then you lose them for the rest of the game because they betray you or something. And I'm like, that shit sucks when that happens. So I always end up holding on to them until like near the end of the game, and then I imbibe them. Though I generally then discover that I'm so overpowered by that point that I don't need them. And to be fair, haven't we always all had that experience? To turn this way. I like that they leave the game. The game is built in a way that it is completely navigable. Like you can walk around the mine, no problem. As long as like, because it's like it's just bright enough that you can kind of see down there, but they give you the ways to actually see better. That's it. We're done, my dude. I don't need to talk to you anymore. So now that we've done this, we go north to Lamut, which is just this way for a bit. And we turn in here. We're going to slam a bookmark down. And yes, we should go in for supplies. We should go in for jokes. Talk to Dubol, I believe it is first.
Ah, what is it now?
He does not want to talk to me anymore. Sumani,
Honors to your houses.
no jokes. We're going to do this one in Chapter 3, most likely. That's fine. But that does mean that where we're at, we're so close to the end of the stream. I am going to put us back in an area that makes more sense. First, let's go to the shop, and I just want to see what we have in our pockets. We're okay. So we're gonna go to Hawk's Hollow and sell all those gems, and really just pad our pockets full of shit. Have a sleep. Continue past Zun. There's Zun. Yep. That's Zun. Follow the road till we get to here. We're going to go east because that takes us past the Temple of Ruthia. There it is. Go a little further to get to Hawk's Hollow. Just a little bit more. Because if I remember correctly, from reading the thing, it's like Hawk's Hollow is one of the... oh, you know what we should do, though? No. I'm sorry. I'm not selling these in Hawk's Hollow. I just realized. That would be a foolish thing to do at this point. We're going to try something else. We're going to go back to the Temple of Ruthia. Where is it? There it is. We could go talk to Isaac. I mean, we're in the area, but... Let's have a quick talk. Shown to a chamber. Stories told by James is most entertaining, particularly like the part about the drunk. Keep an eye on the food you eat. Wasn't much going on there. Teleport. We're gonna go to... So we're in... Right, Killian, not Ruthia. Ruthia's here. We're going to go to... Not gonna go to Baneth for any reason. We're gonna go to Lim's Cragma. And then that puts us back on the road, essentially, to continue on to Romney. And that will be a great way to end the stream, because then we'll be in a location where I kind of wanted to be to continue this journey. And let's sleep. Stay on the road. Oh, nope. Always drink at the well. There's Lighten. We totally don't run into a book anymore. We're just outside Silden. Food and lodging. We should be fine on that account. Should we buy food? Why not? I wonder if the prices went down because of the oh right, we can bar it at places. Oh, I guess we can't because it's still the same chapter. 4 gold. Yeah, we're really low on these, so let's actually just fill back up again. Five, 9. $14. Excellent. All topped up. How much is it to stay the night now? 25 sovereigns still. Okay, so I guess you have to finish the... Nice. I had heard that once you take care of the Rusalki problem, then everyone's like, oh, thank God, the Rusalki problem is solved. And then you can... The prices fall to much more manageable levels. Here's a house. Ah, Buck Roush, right. He makes shovels and torches. This is Sloop. Is there any reason to stop in Sloop? I'm just having a look. Oh yeah, if you go into... It's funny, if you go to the Hawks Hollow sector, there was a question I have on my thing that says, is Isaac still here? And I'm like, shit, I don't know. Was I supposed to look for him? He didn't say I should. So I think we're probably fine in this chapter 2. Finish the Rusalki quest. Find the town of Sloop. The shop here, Galilee's Jewel, specializes in gems. Here you'll also find a defunct temple. Visit the brewery, which you may want to revisit in Chapter 3. I believe we've already visited the brewery here once, but maybe I will go check on it. Two wells. No waiting. Oh, it's the keep out. We're not at Sloop yet. All right. Sleep. Sleeve! House. Madame Haffer is too weird to attend you. Defensively, exhausted her and be resting for some time to come. That's the woman who had a Rusalki inside her. And we helped. This is the jewel place. Buy jewels here. Some other things, which I don't need. Greeted warmly. Greeted warmly. Place is abandoned. Defunct temple. No one has lived here. Been here before. That's the tavern. And I guess that's about it for now. All right. Place is abandoned. I fixed that sword. Somebody else can have it. Oh, great, this house. Visit this house and don't know what happens. Something very strange about the house. James couldn't put his finger on it, but the house has a dreamlike feel. Or was it a nightmare? He barely remembered knocking on the door, but he was sure no one had answered. I don't think that's connected to... I mean, who? I don't know at this point. Eggs chest... Who? Ah. That's a dude. We all back in fighting condition? Let's have a Donnybrook. They weren't surprised. I do like that just being tired is not enough to be like, oh, it's gonna affect how we fight. So all right, James, all yours. Oh, God. Just try to hit them, I beg you. Garot's strength went up. Nice. Weapon craft. I think everyone's armor is okay. Yeah, seems like it. And that guy? Ah. Elven quarrels, you say? Did I drag? I didn't drag the sword out. And that's good. Oh, the border around is something that we added after the fact. In fact, Heather was the one who, because she was like, "What do you want to do here?" And I'm like, she's like, there needs to be some sort of border. You have any good ideas? And I'm like, oh wait, around the edge of the manual, there is like a good looking there's a good looking kind of border for the manual. Maybe we can just use that. So that's what we're using. It is, I think, also just a nice kind of generic looking border in the first place, but yeah, how close are we to Romney from here? Ah, we missed it. Yeah. So we're just gonna pause here. Take some rest till the morning, why not? And look, that is indeed the road into Romney. And with that, it's 12:04, and we're gonna call it, because when we arrive in Romney, Chapter 2 will be finished. We'll have to do some stuff first, but Chapter 2 will be finished. So, that's pretty good. We spent a lot of time. We spent so many days dicking around in Chapter 1, but it put us in a good position to be able to get through Chapter 2 quite quick. Only took like a couple streams, I think maybe 3 streams to get through that. We'll see how fast the rest of these go also, because there'll be other, things changing all the time. And I want to thank everyone for attending tonight's stream of Betrayal at Krondor. The Play It Forward here on Loading Ready Run Entertainment Network. If you are watching this on the YouTube VODs, you can subscribe to the YouTube memberships by going to our main channel, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. And you can subscribe to the channel, but you can also sign up for YouTube memberships. It's a way for you to give us a little money if YouTube is your way of giving people money. You can also, of course, do it through Twitch, and I'll thank everybody here on Twitch in a second, but I also want to say that patreon.com/loadingreadyrun is a great way to also contribute to help keep everything running. And this is not the moon base, this is my house. And a lot of us are streaming from our house thanks to the pandemic, but we're all getting our shots slowly and surely. I think most of the people in the moon base, in fact, have already gotten their first shot, which sounds great. I've gotten mine, and that means that it could be only a few more months until we're actually like getting our second shots and everybody looks good and it's like we're healthy again. We can dodge this virus a little bit better. We can see already in BC cases are plummeting, which is great. Hopefully we're not going to have more waves of that. Hopefully we're not going to have variants and stuff. It's great. And yeah, I'm excited about that, thinking of the future. And in order to have a future, we need you guys to keep up your donations to the Patreon. We appreciate your patronage, because it does mean we can pay a whole bunch of people to do their jobs. All very important stuff. Up next, before we get to the subs, tomorrow is the Loading Ready Run Fam Jam, starting at 10 a.m., 10 o'clock Pacific Daylight? I think we're in daylight by this point. Yes, it's like May. So, but yeah, starting at 10 Pacific is the Loading Ready Run Fam Jam. You'll be able to watch on the Loading Ready Run channel magic happening, but also I believe everybody who's involved in the Fam Jam will also be streaming from their own houses on their own accounts, and so we'll have a lot of different people playing Magic. You feel free to drop in and see whoever's doing what. Watch a bunch of different people. It is, as the next thing tells me, it's 4 hours, 3 teams, Strixhaven Limited. It's Magic the Gathering, and I think that means it's arena. I'm pretty much all on top of this, but not perfect. And then following that will be at 3 p.m. At 1500 hours Pacific, so a little bit later, is Checkpoint Plus, or Chill Point as we've been calling it while we're all isolated in our houses, where we get a chance to discuss the greater parts of Checkpoint, which you should have just watched, which went up earlier today on YouTube. And then following that, I believe there's no Friday Night Paper Fight. But you can find all this out by going to loadingreadyrun.com/live. You'll see me again on Saturday in the evening, still 8 o'clock, or sorry, 2000 hours, 2000 hours Pacific. I will be streaming more Betrayal at Krondor. We will be ending Chapter 2 and beginning Chapter 3, and that's very exciting because it's a part of the game I remember the most. Hopefully, and I have moved a little past. I remembered that now I've moved past that a little bit too. But yeah, this part I'm really looking forward to. And up next after that, Rhythm Cafe, 1600 hours on Sunday, followed by at 1800 hours, Is This Your Card with Ben Wheeler. So you got Rhythm Cafe with Heather and Ian, and then after the Rhythm Games is some card gaming with Ben Wheeler. Moving into the rest of the stuff of the week, again, loadingreadyrun.com/live. Let's thank everybody who subscribed tonight and gave us bits, because that's cool. We're going to start with Gilda Trist, who needs to catch up on the VODs, but I want to thank you for this walk down memory lane. I also have great high school memories of playing this game with a good friend. Isn't that nice? I'm not going to read all the things, but this was just like, I wanted to ensure that I will get this one out, because I want to be sure, this is the first one I have to thank, so I want to be sure it's the right one to thank first. And it looks like it is, because otherwise it would have been about something else. Failhammer for 92 months. So many months, Failhammer. Wow. Pin the Penguin for 26 months. E-Block with 956 bits. Is this the opposite of speedrunning? Because I love this, or the sort of full exploration of the game. Yeah, we're going to grind this out as much as we can. Mastery 576 for 3 months. Thank you for coming back, Mastery. I have no idea if you're still here or not, but if you are, then great. Thank you for sticking around. Inconsiderate Hat for 18 months. Ignis Deus for 82 months. I Am Clockwork for 84 months. Man, that's so many months. I missed the raid from Foxmar again. Always do that. An anonymous gifter gave Molly a sub. So congrats, Molly, and thank you. Matt's raid showed up about that time as well. Druj Nasu for 42 months. Zenguin 47 for 37 months. Thrashing Rhino for 46 months. Atreides 42 for 23 months. Asterisk Mike for 73 months. Again, a lot of months. Rassilon D&D for 47. K. Kazduk for 18 months. Feldheim C for 93 months. Again, a ton of months. I think that's the most months, or is it 94 right now? And Rubik Darkwill for 46 months. The months. Great. That was good. I went to the store today and bought milk and cheese and bread, making my own rations. I feel like I had a productive day. I brought some shelves home. Hey, hot tip, if you ever shop at IKEA, by the way, we bought some billies to put in our house, and we didn't have enough little shelves to go in, so I bought extra shelves. You can do that, and delivering extra shelves is way cheaper, apparently, because it's so much money to buy like a thing and have it delivered to your house. It's like $80 for the actual shelf, but then if you for the shelving unit for the billy itself. But if you want an extra shelf, you want a bunch of extra shelves, it's still like only $20 to ship like a bunch of extra shelves to my house. I'm like, this is literally the size of a billy, all these extra shelves. But what they don't list on the website is that the shelf posts are included, because there's no way to put them in the billy if you don't have the shelf post for it. And I was like, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to shrink wrap the posts to it like they do, but they don't tell you that they're going to do that. So the assumption is I'm going to get a piece of wood in the mail and that's it, and no way to hang it. So I was like, I need to make sure I have posts. So I went to the IKEA replacement hardware page, which is a thing that exists, and you can request replacement hardware for just about anything that should have come with the thing that you ordered. All you have to do is find the instruction manual, which is again part of whatever it is that they're selling you, and they'll list everything has a part number, right? So I went and found the number for the post, the part number for the post, and then I put that I need 48 of these because I just ordered a whole bunch of shelves, and they sent me a tiny cardboard envelope filled with, I'm assuming 48 posts, which I do not need now, because when all the shelves showed up, they all had their little posts shrink wrapped to the thing already, which makes good sense, but they should have put it on the website to say extra shelves come with 4 posts. You do not need to do anything else. I'm like, of course they do, but what if they didn't? Because you don't tell me. So yeah, now I have little tiny caltrops I can just throw all over the moon base and ruin people. So nothing else I think is happening to me other than I think I need to go get a drink, maybe have a little bit of lovely throat medicine to relax my throat. And we will see you anon. So take care, everybody. As always, well, Season 11 DVDs and Blu-rays are waiting for you to confirm your pre-orders or your backing on the Kickstarter from a long time ago. Any that we have left will, of course, end up in the shop, but they're not in the shop now because we're not done giving them out yet. Let's wait until there's the leftovers. Please be safe, be healthy. Wait, is it? No, it's stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside if you can, and get that vaccine if it's in your area. And if it is not in your area, I'll push my MPs to make sure that they start giving them out to other places that need them when we are like, if do not need all the ones that we have. And so do the same for your people in your area. Let them know that it's like, spread the goodness around. Let all the other countries have some too. We need to get everybody vaccinated, or else this is never going to end. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Talk to you later.